All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So I am joined today by two of my closest friends and colleagues in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! We have Marcus Hayden and Eric Shen, aka Sackphase. Today we are going to be talking about the state of Edison format in 2026. There's a lot I want to talk about. We're just going to kind of rant, but I also do have some structure that I kind of want to introduce into this video, mainly being how did we get to the point where we are right now in Edison format. Like, what are the canon events that I think led us to where the format is now? We're going to discuss some of our, like, things that we like about the format, maybe compared to other formats like Redo or Hat or Tengu or Goats or whatever. And then we can also just talk about things that we don't like about the format, because I'm sure that we definitely have some gripes about current Edison as well. No format is perfect, so just kind of prefacing it with that. But to kick it off, canon events. So I wrote down just a few things that I think kind of changed the trajectory of Edison to get us where we are right now. And I'm going to go back to 2024. So I think in 2024, there were multiple things that happened. One of them being the creation of both Dream Frogs and Frog OTK. So those two decks premiered basically in 2024. Dream Frogs was created by James Ark, and then Frog OTK was created by Alistair from the UK. He came on my channel in 2024. I actually just looked on my YouTube channel to see like when that happened. It was June 2024. So I know, over 2 years ago. And he had topped like UK Nationals, I believe, with the deck. But at that time, it was very different. It was like Mother Grizzlies and like Trapsline and stuff like that. It was a bit different, but the concept of killing you was the same. Like it did the exact same type of thing. It just got to it a different way. And until he improved upon it and made it the deck that it is now, where it has won like almost 10 majors, if not actually 10 majors now, which is crazy because the deck really didn't start popping off until 2025. So Dream Frogs and Frog OTK happened in 2024. As a response to that, one of the gentlemen here is responsible for one of the canon events as well. So we have like those two decks come out. YCS Niagara 2024 Sizzle tops with a Vayu Turbo deck that we now know as the Sizzle 41, main decking double Deck Devastation Virus. Now, Deck Devastation Virus had been made before, but a couple things. One, so it won RBT Maryland in 2024 by Gary Yu in the main deck, and I think that was the first time it won an event in the main deck, which obviously puts a lot of eyes on the card. When the card wins in the main deck, it's like a big deal. And then also depending on who plays and stuff like that, that can like change the trajectory of like how people perceive it. But it won Maryland, and then Dream Frogs comes out. Frog OTK starts happening, but Frog OTK is kind of an overseas thing. It's kind of like COVID started. It doesn't affect the US for a while. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're like,
no, you're right.
Yeah, we don't
I
get
still
affected.
feel like it's really affecting us that hard.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Like, it really doesn't affect us that hard. But Dream Frogs did affect us, like, blatantly. I feel like we all kind of felt like people were copying that deck and playing it. And then it also won Nationals in 2024, right? Bronte won Nationals, which was the biggest retro tournament ever at the time of this recording. And like 2 weeks from now, Houston, the LDS will happen, and that'll be the biggest retro tournament ever with over 500 people. But like at the time, 2024, the biggest tournament was that Nationals. The Ultimate Time Wizard in Austin, Texas. Dream Frogs won. Then Dream Frogs won immediately again in Sacramento. So Sizzle, why don't you tell us, like, you put double DDV in your main deck after those two things happen? Why?
There was a few compounding factors, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because I think people wanted to put DDV in the main deck already, because like you said, Gary already put in one in, and then, but for so long, it was like sided as a 2 of. Like, it was a staple 2 of in the side deck. Every Vayu Turbo list had 2 in the side. And then Virus Vayu actually became big. And because I tested Virus Vayu, the biggest takeaway I had from Virus Vayu, because I hate that deck. That deck sucks.
Yeah,
like, I don't think that deck is good.
I did a teach him how to cook with one of the people who used to play it a lot, Scrub for Life. And you can watch that video. We struggled to deal with an alias. We struggled to deal with any monster that was kind of big. Like, there's no real destruction in that deck, and it just kind of doesn't feel good to not have Raiko in that deck at all. Like, just bad.
Yeah, and it kind of relies on just shotgunning your virus, whereas like regular Vayu Turbo decks or Nitro Vayu can just kind of hold it. But the point being was, the biggest takeaway was DDV is actually good against Blackwing. I think that was the biggest thing holding people back from maining deck dev. Was I found out DDV is actually good against Blackwing. If you hit the little guys, the big guys can't do anything. And the hero beat fell out of favor because all the frog decks were coming in.
Yes.
So it's just like, this is just like the most obvious response. But the Blackwing thing was the biggest thing, because like I always try to build my decks to beat Blackwing, because that's what I expect to face the most of.
I build my decks to beat
So
value turbo.
yeah, I think that's what's happening now. I think
It's a
everyone's
triangle, right?
focusing on.
And this
Yeah.
is kind of the big going back to the big three thing. So I built all my frog decks to beat value. You can look at my frog list. Why am I main decking Soul Exchange, right? It's because of value turbo, because you guys set monsters. If you played face up the whole time, I would think I would probably just play Image Controller. But because you said hamster, double hamster, and triple Ryko, and you're playing Charge of the Light Brigade, and like your list is the standard, everyone's playing the Sizzle 41 in 2024 and forward. My deck has always been made to like beat value. Then the value decks are made to beat Blackwings, which I'm so glad you confirmed that, because I do feel like the format, when I always talked about the big three, and I'm kind of the person who started that whole moniker of like the big three with Blackwing, Value, Hero Frog, specifically those three decks. It was because I feel like they all kind of beat each other in the triangle, not by a large margin though, like 55-45 each. It could even be closer than that. It could be like, you know, some 51-49 shit. Who cares? But the point is that like I do think that Blackwings has a slightly winning matchup against Hero Frogs. I think Hero Frogs has a slightly winning matchup against Value. I think Value has a slightly winning matchup against Blackwings. And you can kind of, I feel like if you're at a certain level, you can kind of feel it too when you play. Like Blackwings having to deal with Hamster, I think is a really big deal. Like that card is just so hard to deal with Blackwings. You have like attacking to a Hamster with anything that's not either Shura with Kalut or Sirocco, or like you just have Whirlwind up already, which you don't really care about anything in the game at that point, honestly. But like if you have a regular Blackwing hand, no, I'm talking about no Whirlwind, just a regular Blackwing hand, you have like Bora, Shura, Sirocco, whatever stuff like that, and you have to deal with Hamster, it's so obnoxious, especially Hamster with a back row. That kind of pressure is just really good. Then obviously Frogs with their Monarchs and stuff like that naturally have a good game one against value. I think game one is very favor for Hero Frogs against value, and then games 2 and 3 are a struggle for Hero Frogs because of the side deck cards. Pulling a rug is insane against that deck. Royal Oppression is insane. And then it's just like the Hero Frog just has to win one of the next 2 games. So usually they will win game 1. And the die roll doesn't even matter that much. And then Blackwings just rush you down before Frogs can get set up. Very obvious game plan in there. Shura, Bora, attack, like Eric Dehan and stuff. Those guys, Nima, they've all figured out like how to play Blackwings correctly. And yeah, so that is like where we're at. And I, like just you confirming the like value meant to beat Blackwing, so maining DDV. So you mained it because of that factor. Is there something else? Like, because I feel like the mirror match is also a blowout.
So at that point in time, DDV wasn't confirmed to be a blowout, but now I feel like people are low-key realizing it definitely can be a blowout more often than not. And it's just the hand knowledge is crazy, because even if you go 2 for 2, it doesn't matter. I feel like if you go 2 for 2 and know what your opponent draws for 3 turns, it's unreal.
Yeah. Are you holding it in that matchup a lot too? Like in the value mirror, you know, when you have DDV, because you guys know you play bottomless and deep prison, so you can kind of get more value out of it too.
In the value turbo mirror, you're supposed to hold it because you hope they can set Hamster, set Ryko, or just commit with a Gref or Plague Play or something. But unfortunately, like against Nitro variants, and I didn't know this at the time, but this is like my one. I tell you about this all the time though. My one misplay against Durkas, you have to shotgun DDV and against Nitro because you have to hit Armageddon Knight.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they play 3 of it, and Rhoda. Yeah, Armageddon Knight is a card that, you know, that one monster makes it where you want to shotgun DDV. He changed.
It's the only thing you want to hit though. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like they don't play any other DDV targets. Yeah.
He's got Trooper too.
Yeah, Trooper also.
Trooper too, yeah, Trooper for sure. I just think of that deck though, when I think about Nitro value specifically, right? Armageddon Knight does so much of the heavy lifting, but you are absolutely right, Marcus. You want to hit Trooper as well before it hits the field because it'll draw a card. So they have like these 4 monsters that if they hard draw them, you want to DDV them, and then there's not really much else to hit. Dirk's list doesn't even play Gale. Which is like they like
that's crazy.
Really no targets for DDV, but it can still hurt them if you hit Armageddon Knights or whatnot. So like yeah, DDV canon event becomes a main deck card across the format. Also at this time, now this has kind of changed since, but Blackwings followed suit. The Blackwing players were also just main decking in 2024 and like half of 2025. I want to say they were main decking DDV every single list. Like you did not see Blackwings not playing that card, and I don't know what changed in their mindset because I'm not a Blackwing player, I'm not part of that community really, but like something changed where I feel like a lot of Blackwing lists now just side like 1 copy, don't even main any. Marcus, do you have anything to say? Like, do you know why that could be? Or
so I think it's because as the game got faster, Blackwings also just wanted to play the game faster, and they just wanted to stop their opponent from stopping them. So cards like Dust Tornado and 7 Tools got more popular, and they just wanted to kind of rush you down. Whereas DDV was kind of more of like the Blackwing game plan where you'd hold and be more reactive. Now they're being way more proactive, I feel like. So
yeah, no, totally. That does check out. I noticed that more Blackwing players like Eric Chai, Nima, all those guys, that whole group, right? They definitely are into the 7 Tools. 7 Tools, there was a guy in Final Boss, I don't know his name in real life, But in Final Boss won like an EWCQ, I believe, with double 7 tools in the main deck of Black Wings. And that, that's huge because he actually won against Hero Frogs too in the finals. 7 tools was actually insane. Like it was very good. It honestly better than DDV because DDV didn't really have anything to hit, but like 7 tools, he would hit crucial cards, the crucial defensive cards, and just push through damage. And that's, that matchup just really comes down to that a lot of the time. So that is facts. They just kind of want to stop what you're doing and push out damage. They don't really care about like devastating you is cool, but it also, they don't do it as easily as Value does.
That's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing, yeah. Okay, so DDV becomes a main deck card in 2024. And 2025, Sizzle wins again. Same exact list, basically. Like, Triple Gruffer gets added to the side deck, but like, whatever. The main deck is the same. Like, the main deck is the same. It's also the most winning list in the format. Like, in terms of a list that people do not change anything, right? Like, people take lists from all of us, from everyone who tops or wins. People will take the list, but they'll always like change something, they'll top, and it's like, okay, whatever. But like, I feel like the Sizzle 41 is the one list in the format that people will like pick it up and not change a single card in the main deck and play the exact same main deck and see a lot of success. And so that becomes like a thing. And so then you have everyone building their decks with the double deck devi in mind, because you can't ignore it because Value is a popular deck on top of it being broken. So every deck is made with DDV in mind. So then you start getting like decks that are just anti-DDV. You get the dupless Hero Frog deck.
Yeah.
Like that's a deck that is a result of DDV. Like that is the reason why Dirk and his group, and the reason why that deck is like the way it is. It only has 10 DDV targets. It plays no dupe frogs. The reason why, no junk synchron, double e-call. These are cards that are really good against DDV. Like having e-call in your hand when you get DDV is insane, right? Your opponent opens up their field and you go Summer Stratos, go +1, beat for 18. It's insane. So that, like, so much is a result of the Dream Frog thing happening, plus just the format in general being the way it is. But Dream Frog happens to a very small degree in America anyway, like Frog TK, but mainly the Dream Frog deck winning 2 tournaments in a row. Sizzle then topping Niagara with double DDV. Sizzle being like a person who's already at that time won 2 events. So people are copying that list. And then you have lists coming out that are just made, like every deck, like there's all these Machina decks that get made. And they're just like anti-DDV decks. A lot of people are taking, like even the Frog decks that were still playing Dupe Frog will start to cut down on DDV targets, if you will. And so everyone is trying to like play less things that get DDV. Icarus 89 is playing the 1800 guy, RMC Hunter, in his like Frog deck with like triple water art. He wins a major online with like this kind of like it looks like an anti-value deck to me. Like honestly, that deck was like triple soul exchange, double RMC Hunter, which is really like, that card's good against flip effect monsters mainly. Mm-hmm. Like it beats Raikou.
Dude, I didn't know, like, at Niagara, that card hit, like, kamikaze into my Darken. I'm like, what's this guy doing? I tried using Darken effect, and he's like, you can't do that. I'm like, oh, did not know that.
I didn't know wait, if it battles whatsoever, it triggers that effect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, what's the guy doing?
Yeah, no, you can crash it into a Titania and cut her off. Like, she doesn't have an effect anymore. She can still tribute, obviously, for cost, but it won't do anything. You could do it into a Vanity's Fiend. You could do it into Christia. Like, it's not as easy to do those things, obviously, because you need to have another water monster in the field. That's like the criteria for him to activate his effect. But if you do have another water monster in the field, you can like crash RMC Hunter into a guy, and it will cut that guy off permanently, including things like Card Trooper, Vayu, Necrogarden, Treeborn Frog. You can catch your opponent slipping and just beat over a Vayu. People set Vayu all the time. And like you attack it, and they're like, no effect. Like, and they might forget that too. They might try to activate Value in the graveyard later on, and like it doesn't work. So you have all these decks that are coming out that are like basically with the idea of DDV in mind. And so that's like a huge canon event. Fast forward to 2025. This is the era of like Konami is getting out of the game in the middle of the year, right? Like Nationals comes, we have the whole big thing. They start doing Advanced Edison. They get a lot of backlash. We know how that went down. Ultimate Time was basically it ceases to exist. And then we start getting like all the other events, but as that happens, another canon event takes place where Marcus Hayden, this guy here,
yes, sir.
I believe at RBT Indianapolis, that happens at the exact same time as the last ever Ultimate Time Wizard. These events happen simultaneously on the same day in the same exact city. You main decked Spiritual Water Art in Hero Frogs and topped.
Yeah.
Since then, since last year, around this time last year, that has become the standard for Hero Frogs. Like all Hero Frog decks that I've seen top, and every single one that I've seen win, because the deck has won multiple times since then. Every Hero Frog deck that's won this year, like Tom Max build, and Dennis Nada's build. Tom played 2 in the main deck. Dennis played 3 in the main deck. And yeah, so every frog deck that has like one that is not Frog or TK, I feel like has been maining Spiritual Water Art since that happened. In Hero Frogs, which was not a thing. It was a sided card before that. I sided the card. A lot of people sided the card, but it was not a main deck card. And so you came in, you mained it, made top 8, I want to say.
Yeah.
Made top 8. And then that becomes, from that point on, we've just been in this water art. So now you have like DDV has already been established as the birds, DDV you, and they look at your hand. And then you have the frog decks after mid 2025 also look at your hand and have perfect information. And like,
I freaking hate that card. Sorry, that card pisses me off so hard because it changes the whole game plan of how like decks interact with frogs now.
It does. It does a lot. Can you speak to that? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, how you interact with frogs? Because before, you used to play against the frog matchup probably differently, where you will hold things, but you can speak better than I can about it.
Yeah, like, okay, so like before, okay, like you know how you said it was like a triangle between the big 3. Honestly, before Water Art, I honestly did not feel that way. I honestly thought value just beats everything because, well, most value players play against frogs wrong, in my opinion. But you're just supposed to hold your cards, get hit by Swap Frog like 5 times, and then just like either kill them or put them in checkmate. And now you can't do that because while you're holding your cards, if they Water Art you, you're cooked.
Yep.
So now, like, I'm forced to like use my value effect. Like, if I draw Burial, I have to use value effect early to make sure if they Water Art me, I can like chain it or at least set Burial so it's away from Water Art. Like, it's a whole different dynamic now, and you have to like play with that in mind. Because like, oh, if this card gets Water Arted, am I screwed? If yes, I have to like try the checkmate earlier, and maybe they don't have Water Art then, and then I lose, and I play around on card for no reason. Like, it's really interesting dynamic now.
I agree. I think that the dynamic has definitely shifted to like holding cards against frogs is not as good as it used to be. That used to be the strategy, is that you would just sit there and kind of camp, is what I call it. Like, you like think about a fighting game or like a first person shooter. You just camp frogs, like, and it was effective for the most part. I think Hero Frogs was at the time Hero Frogs was the deck that you could not camp that well because literally not making plays gets you hit. Like, by Miracle Fusion, Stratos is just a big monster to summon. So they could do like a lot of damage to you if you don't do anything. Whereas against Frog Monarchs, like, you could just pass, and they don't really have a way to press you outside of the Swap Frog attack for 1,000 over and over. And you're like, I'm okay with this. Like, we could do this all day. So very effective strategy. But the Water Art makes it where holding cards doesn't work. I remember watching a replay a while ago. I think it was Sasha Egger versus someone who was on Frogs, and like Sasha was accumulating cards in Value Turbo, just like doing the thing, holding cards, and he ended up accumulating, like, he got to, I think it was in one of my tournaments actually, so it's probably on a VOD somewhere, a live stream, but he ended up getting Water Art and his Dark Arm got taken. And like, I remember saying out loud, commentating, I was like, he just lost. Like, the game wasn't over yet, but I was like, that hand, now that Dark Arm is not a part of the game anymore, that hand is not good anymore. Like the cards, the 6 or 7, I think he had 7 cards because he's like drew to 7. I was like, those cards without the Dark Arm in it, they're just not good enough. It was like, you know, Greffer plus a pitch plus like a bottomless or a deep prison or something, you know, just like a regular hand, like Gale. I was like, those cards are good, but without the Dark Arm being that, like, that bomb, right? I was like, this is so bad now. And he obviously ended up losing that game without the Dark Arm. And yeah, what you say is correct. Like, now holding your cards against frogs does not work really. Like, you kind of have to, you're kind of forced into this catch-22, right? Like, play your cards and lose your cards. Don't play your cards and lose your cards? Question mark? Like,
yeah, it's just weird because like frogs normally want you to play, like, because when you put cards on the board, cards like Absolute Zero get better, the Monarchs get better, right?
yep.
Rye Break you can use proactively or reactively. But yeah, when they hold their cards and like attempt to make a push and you have Water Art, you can completely ruin that game plan. And it also makes it weird because even if they play early, they're kind of setting up in a way to like layer a push. So you might completely ruin the whole game plan before they ever even get to the, you know, the next wave of push or whatever. So it's really awkward because it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You almost have to choose, okay, am I going to play around Water Art this game and, you know, play proactively and choose to lose to some of these other cards that frogs play? Or am I just going to hold and hope they don't see one of their Water Arts or Dust Shoot? So it's, I don't know, just made it really weird on the opponent.
Yeah, and I think to fast forward to 2026 real quick, I'm going to go back because I still have some things to say that are like canon events, but to fast forward to 2026, you have these lists that are popping up, Hero Frog lists, that are playing like 3 heroes, like Corey Brogan and Dennis Nadas both play 3 heroes. And
Yeah.
Corey Brogan's list, I think, is the most interesting. Like, Dennis's list is good. He plays double Miracle Fusion because he only plays 3 heroes, which I weirdly think that does make sense. Corey's list plays like 8 Monarchs, though. Making it essentially Hero Frog Monarchs instead of just like Hero Frogs. And he plays triple Econ. And he plays Water Art and Dust Shoot. So all of that, his deck is like even harder to play against because it's super punishing to put 2 things face up. Like if you put an Armwing and a Grepher face up and he's playing triple Econ, triple Miracle Fusion, right? And then all of those goddamn Monarchs, it's very easy for your board to get broken. But he's also looking at your hand because he plays double Destalos and he plays the Water Arts and the Dust Shoot. So it's just like adds another layer. It like cuts out some of the other things that frogs, like Hero Frogs, would do. And he's just like, I'm doing this very annoying like hand manipulation thing with the double Destalos, the 3 other trap cards to look at your hand. So it's like very hand, like it touches your hand a lot, but it also does like, you know, obviously dupe block, you know, and then it has like Econ, so steal your guy, attack your guy, tribute your guy, like stuff like that is really obnoxious. I think that just adds another layer to like the whole conversation of like what it's like to play against modern day frogs, because that is becoming, I'm seeing more and more people try things out like that, like bringing Econ back into the main deck, which kind of left. And I'm not mad at like Econ leaving. I don't think Econ was that good when double DDV was just like everywhere, because it doesn't do anything if you don't have Treeborn Frog already. Like it's kind of bad if your opponent just like stop you from getting Treeborn Frog established at all. You have to side it out a lot. So I just have a lot of problems with like Econ in general, but we're kind of back full circle where people are playing more Econs or whatnot. Now, all this to say, Dream Frogs becomes one of the top decks in the format. It starts topping, it starts winning, it wins 2 tournaments back to back, blah, 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 right? 2025 is the rise of GBs. I think this is another canon event. GBs got to the finals against Sizzle in Orlando at the beginning of 2025. And at the time, it was kind of like, okay, whatever, like not really taking that seriously. However, it wins an Ultimate Time Wizard that year, Providence, right? It wins Ultimate Time Wizard Providence, a guy by the name of Morph, takes down that whole tournament. His deck list gets posted, you know, on the internet. This is the time where Konami is actually giving out deck lists. And then it wins Worlds 2025, Chase Simpson. And GB's also had the best record in War League, or at least an undefeated record, like 11-0 that War League season, which is incredible, by the same guy who won Worlds. So the guy who wins Worlds, Chase Simpson, shout out to him, is like undefeated in War League, wins Worlds, wins like 2 PBRs in a row, all with the same list basically. And it's like now GBs finally have a standardized list, because for so long GBs were all over the place. You had some people not playing Prisma, some people not playing Stratos, some people not playing Test Tiger. You had people playing Iados and D-Fisher, which like, you know, it won that.
About that.
Yeah, exactly. It won the RBC New York. But like, again, nobody, you said you forgot about it. I feel like everybody did. Like, it's kind of like a thing that happened that nobody really acknowledges happened. But then like they get a standard list finally. And that happens in 2025. That's like a real big canon event, because GBs beats the shit out of Dream Frogs. And Dream Frogs is really good against birds. Like, it's very good against birds. It's like almost designed to beat birds specifically, and not really much else, in my opinion. Like, it kind of has a decent frog matchup, but like, whatever. But it's very, very good against birds. Did like triple dupe, the salvages, the pot averages, you could dupe block over and over again. That's extremely strong against birds specifically. Salvage is good against DDV as well, right? Frog decks up until that point were not really main decking salvage. It just wasn't a thing. So you have like this new frog deck that loses as a really bad matchup against GBs. Now GBs have a really good matchup, and then like Sizzle said, Hero Beat leaves the format almost entirely. So GBs lose a bad matchup and then gain a really good matchup. Hey, kitty. Big cat.
He's
but
crazy.
But like Dream Frogs, they end up coming in the format, doing well. People play the deck, but then it has this really bad matchup against a new, like not a new deck, but a deck that is now seeing success. It's like a buy. Like GBs just kind of have a buy. GBs also happen to be really good against Gigavice, which started in 2025 as well. The same tournament that Sizzle won, Orlando, Gigavice premiered at that. Two of them topped. It was the only deck that was repeating in Top Cut. So you have like Gigavice is like, oh my god, new kid on the block. GBs have a really good matchup against this deck. And that's like a big deal too. Like, what do you guys think about like the whole like GB thing happening in 2025, where it becomes just like this really good problematic deck?
Yeah, I think it definitely got way more popular. Before, I might play 1 GB in a tournament. Now I expect to play like anywhere from 1 to 3 in a single tournament. I think in my last like 5 or 6 tournaments, I've played at least 1 every single time. So it's much different than before, and it is definitely here to stay. Also, just the way the meta is developing, like even now, I think is pretty beneficial for GBs. So yeah, that deck's really good. I think a lot of people underestimate how hard that deck can actually be to play because it doesn't have a crazy ceiling. So oftentimes, whereas like other decks, like Eric's Value Turbo deck, I've lost to some poor players who like mill a Raikou and hit like 3 pieces, right? Like GBs don't really have that. They play with whatever they draw in their hand.
Yep.
And they also just don't have a lot of special summoning outside of like Tiger, unless they resolve a GB effect. So yeah, deck's definitely here to stay, and it is a lot better than I initially had given it credit for.
What do you mean by, you said that it does well into the way the meta is developing?
Yeah, I think it's really good against like the Nitro decks because they put down normal summons that are good for your monsters, right? I think Raikou being in the format was really rough for GB, and now that Raikou's like kind of finding its way out, it's actually more beneficial because a deck entirely reliant on the battle phase just wants to attack, their attacks to go through, and then being able to tag out. And then on top of that, the combo decks and whatnot can kind of struggle against GB as well. And those are also, more popular than they were like a year and a half ago.
True.
Even hybrid, like the hybrid Blackwing list that is doing well, is worse into GBs than like a traditional Blackwing deck would be. That's another like beneficial factor in my opinion. Yeah, just a lot of things are trending right for it.
Yeah, triple trap stun is very, very good into the meta right now, where Value and Blackwings plays like 16 traps. Like straight up, just like 16 traps. And Value doesn't play 16 traps. It plays a lot of traps, like usually 10 or more, like as a standard, lineup. Like you have your double bottomless always. You have one deep prison nowadays, one solemn, double DDV, return, torrential mirror, force trap, dust shoot. I think I just named at least 10 cards right there. And then some people play other stuff like Icarus attack now. Some people still play double deep prison or whatever. So you could end up with anywhere from like 10 to 11 or 12 traps in Value as well. A lot of traps, and trap stun, triple trap stun is like very, very strong. We've all found out the hard way. It's even good against frogs. Like trap stun is factually like Raigeki Break trap stun is broken. Like they lost 2 cards, and then your whatever play you're doing is going to go through, whether that be Sekitor or Jazaris, whatever. Like it's going through, and that's very, very strong. So I agree with the take that now people are playing decks like the combo decks that are very weak to GBs. Like Gigavice, Dragon Turbo, Froggo TK, they can all get just like destroyed by GBs in the first 2 turns. Like it only takes a little bit of time to go like Sekitor or establish like too much advantage with a Chariot Lock. Like it just Chariot Lock you every turn, Chariot Loop you, and that's enough. So GBs becomes like one of the top 5 decks in the format, wins a couple times in 2025. And now in tournaments, you just have to expect that you're going to play against it because the GBs always had a lot of fans. They just kind of were in hiding. And now they are kind of united under this one banner of like the Prisma Stratos list. Like they all just play, they all have conformed, which is nothing wrong with that. Like they finally have a standardized list. I think that's one of the things, so the rise of GBs, but also, and this is the one I hate the most, the rise of Twilight. Twilight? What would you say?
I hate that deck.
I hate it too. So all of my losses in the last tournament I played, I lost solely to Twilight. That is like the deck that eliminated me. I lost to it twice. And then before that, the top that I had last year in 2025 at Chicago, the event was won by Twilight, Jake XO, and I lost to, that was the deck I lost to. I lost to the winner in top 16. And at the time I was like, okay, like I kind of drew bad game 1. I lost the die roll. I didn't draw too great. And then he DD Crowed me game 1. So a lot went wrong, right? And I was like, damn, that's kind of annoying. I ended up playing against the only deck in Top Cut that mains DD Crow. And even to this day, I think it's the only deck in the format that really like mains DD Crow and you're going to play, like it's a popular deck too. Like Machina Control does it, but not all the time. And also that deck is very rare, I feel like. Like Machina Control is not very popular. But like Twilight...
It's top this year. I don't know if it's topped in 2026.
I don't think so either. I'm like, maybe it has topped something because there's been a lot of tournaments. Like, but even if it did top something, right? Your point still stands that like it's not really doing that great representation wise and top cut representation wise. It definitely is not a deck that I'm like, oh, here's a Machina Control deck, because I cover almost every event like in some way. Like I pretty much cover everything that is not an RBET because Keegan covers them himself. So like I haven't seen Machina Control doing that well, and that is probably because frogs are way more popular than they ever were. That's like a buy for frogs. Like Machina Control is like, I want to play against that deck every round if I can. I also don't know what its best matchups are, because even the decks that they say are its best matchups, like Value and Blackwings, I don't really agree. But Twilight, on the other hand, like genuinely the main deck Double Crow, the main deck Kaiku, everyone's kind of playing the same list. Like, it's basically the Jake list, which I don't know what that's derived from, but I'm just going to say, like, ignorantly, that is Jake's list. I feel like everyone is playing a list that is derivative of that. Like, every list looks like the Jake XO list that won Chicago. And then you had LDS Vegas this year in 2026 that 2 Twilight decks, almost identical. Like, they have slight changes. I think there was like 2 cards different. They got top 4. And the tournament was like 350 players. They got top 4. It could have been a Twilight 1 Twilight finals, but they both lost in top 4 to Blackwing and Hero Frog. So I've been monitoring the format because that's just my job. And I've been noticing, like, damn, like, Twilight's doing really well. Like, it's performing really, really well. At the Chicago Monthly, like, a couple weeks ago, Sizzle, you lost to, like, Glyceborn and Twilight, I think, as your losses.
Yep.
Let's hear your, like, how do you...
Dude, it was, like, I didn't even get Lightsworn or, like, milled Luxact. I lost to Top Deck JD in, like, 20 cards, and I lost to Snipe Hunter having to hit both die rolls. So I don't know, like, and then I've tested against Twilight later too, and like the matchups, it's still like really, I feel like really unfavored for value, at least game 1. And but like we were talking before this, like how every time like we see Twilight play, like either we play or we see our friends play, the deck is just like absolute garbage.
Yes, terrible.
And I have like this thing on Twilight, this like not theory, but like thing where Twilight obviously is. Like, if you run hot, like, it's one of the... It's probably just straight up the best deck to play if you're running hot, right? So, every tournament, I expect to see, like, a Twilight in the top cut, because, like, when you top, you have to run hot, obviously.
Yep.
The thing is, though, like, I don't think I've seen one repeating Twilight topper. It's always someone new, because they just happen to run hot that day.
Yeah.
It's not like the skill expression deck, or, like... I mean, obviously, there's skill expression in every deck, right? I'm not saying, like, it's the skillless deck, but, like, it's... You have to run hot, but all I'm trying to say, like, if you don't run hot, you're not topping. So, like, whoever is like running hot that day just tops.
I don't think you can just play well and force it with Twilight. Like, and I think that's what you're trying to say. Like, value and Hero Frog and Blackwing, I genuinely think if you play really, really well, like I'm talking about really well. I've seen Marcus. There was the event that you didn't go to. I think Houston. Marcus went to Houston with your list, and he was playing value, and he was supposed to lose round 1, I think. And like he played really, really, really well, like some crazy stuff, played out of it, and like ended up winning round 1, and then ended up topping the tournament, like doing really well in Swiss and everything like that. And I don't think that you can do the same thing with a deck like Twilight. It just doesn't lend itself to the whole, I'm playing well and therefore my tournament is going to go well. And value, I feel like, is so consistent and also powerful. It doesn't trade any of those things. It actually has consistency and power. I think that's why it's one of the best decks in the format. I think that Blackwings has consistency and power. I think Hero Frogs has consistency and power. They don't trade those things for like when I say this, I mean that Twilight has a lot of power. Yep. Like double JD, Dark Arm Dragon in the same deck, triple Solar Recharge and Allure in the same deck, right? Like that's crazy. Then you also have Gores and Chaos Sorcerer and Card Trooper in the same deck, and Charge Light Brigade in the same deck, and Triple Wolf and Gardner and Plague Spreader in the same deck. You have all these like ridiculous bombs, a Pot of Avarice and like Dust Shoe, and you're drawing more cards than every other deck because you play 4 draw cards. So like you have all these ridiculous bombs, like these overpowered bombs. So you have power probably higher than any other deck in the format. But maybe not Frog with TK, but like that's a different conversation. But you, out of all the decks that like duel, your power level is extremely high with Twilight. Your consistency though is like what even is, like the consistency is all over the place. It's like I've drawn so many hands with it, and you guys are going to see a video soon where me and Kenny play Master Disaster. We take a list that literally got top 4, so a standard Twilight list. We play round 1 against the Frog deck. We get fucking destroyed, like absolutely zero diffed. We drew Crow and Kaiku and got It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close, bro. And then we played against a Blackwing deck and got absolutely destroyed. And I was like, yo, like in the hands we were drawing, inconsistent. They were just like we didn't side out any starters or anything like that. We didn't make any plays that were like egregiously wrong or anything like that. Like, it honestly, with the hands we had, there weren't many plays to choose from. It was like, all right, I guess we have to summon Arcus and pass here. Like, we got to get milling because we have a JD. And it just wasn't anything to write home about. It was very inconsistent, and I hated it because when we would win, our hands would be broken, right? It would be like, multiple draw cards. But then the deck only plays like 10 spells and traps total, or like 11. I think it was 11 spells and traps, 30 monsters. And so like when you don't open up the green cards, your deck just feels very mid, like very, very mid and underwhelming. But when you play, I swear to God, when I play against that deck, though, they draw so broken against me. Like, and I think that that's the situation that you're having happen as well, Sizzle, where like maybe they didn't open up broken. You say you didn't get like light sworn, which basically is you saying you didn't get like charge, recharge, JD turn two. However, they're still drawing like at the exact moment that they need to, like here's a JD, right? Or like here's Snipe Hunter, which is also its own lucky thing with the whole die roll. Like that's its own, like it's its own fucking thing, right? Like two out of 4 chance that you, or 2 out of 6 chance that like you just do nothing, right? Or, like it just 1 out of 3. But like that deck in itself is, it looks very powerful when you watch it, and when you play, I swear when you play against it, it seems really powerful. I play with it and I don't get it. Like I don't like, it's so inconsistent to me.
Yeah, I think one of the big benefits to that deck that probably doesn't get talked about enough, and why I think it can top events, is if you're playing against someone who's not like a really strong player and can recognize like danger when they have to push, when they have to hold back, that deck has a lot of inevitability. So like the longer the game goes on, the more likely they're going to find bombs, more likely they're going to mill more cards, even if they don't draw broken.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, it's a deck that like I think against the good players, you just have to straight up kind of be lucky. But a lot of times against like an average player who doesn't know how to push the pace, you know, like the amount of times I see people like try to play around Gores or something when their opponent didn't use any spells turn 1 and like normal summoned and milled 3. And it's like, oh my gosh, you have to press the pace against like this. This is like exactly what you want when you play this deck.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think there's some of that with the deck, but then also like if I don't know how often that deck gets lucky because I haven't played it enough myself, but I mean, if you're non-gaming your opponent, like even just slightly more than 50% of the time, it might be a good call if you can get through like a Swiss, because then if I'm going to non-game Shen over 50% of the time, I'm not going to have to, you know, outplay Shen more than half my game. So like
Eric,
that's just an example, right? But
yeah, like Eric, you played against like Lightsworn or Twilight, whatever, after the Chicago Monthly when we went to that store, Quality. Shout out to them for their hospitality. You were behind me playing a shit ton, I think, against like some kind of Lightsworn brew, right?
Yeah.
And you were just frustrated the whole time, I feel like.
Dude, yeah, I played against Henry, like the guy who got top. Did he get top 4, top 8 at the last monthly?
Oh god, I think it was top 4.
He topped. I don't know.
Yeah,
He topped. Yeah, he's good. He's
maybe
like,
it was top 8. I forget.
him and Chai are like the best Blackwing players in Chicago. Yeah, but he like likes to play Twilight for fun, and we just play game. We only play game ones, which to be fair, like I think is a horrible matchup for value already.
Yeah,
but it shouldn't be this bad because I get like 7-0, and to be fair, the whole time we like thinking back, I was obviously like frustrated. I'm like, dude, like I can't like beat this deck, and I was like playtesting. I was even maining triple deck dev. And I didn't draw deck dev once or dark armed, so like the games were like a little like variance RNG, but dude, I got 7-0. Like it shouldn't be that bad.
It's
like,
exactly
it should not be that bad.
That yes, I think when you get to those ratios, you start to have to question like, okay, at some point I have to stop saying I'm just getting unlucky or he's just getting lucky, right? Like maybe the matchup really is that bad. And I have a similar story. I think it was Niagara. It was Niagara. I lent ProStorm. I met ProStorm. We all met ProStorm in Niagara 2024. Yep. And he borrowed a Christia Sworn deck from me. He gave it back to me at the end of the tournament. And so me and Gary were waiting in a lobby somewhere after the whole tournament had concluded, right? Like this is Niagara. Me and Gary, I was like, yo, Gary, we're bored. Let's just like play each other for funsies. And I'm going to play the deck that ProStorm I built for him and that he gave me back. It was his list. And it was at the time, it was like a Christia Sworn deck. I think it was maining double Christia and also triple Wolf, which was like kind of, yeah. And it was playing like Threatening Roars and Beckoning Light. Me and Gary played game ones, no side decking, just value turbo. Basically, you know, like his list is very close to, at that time, it was very close to yours, Sizzle. We played, he could not win. We also played like genuinely, probably like 10 to 12 games. You could ask Gary, it was really bad. Like, I was like, damn, I'm not even summoning Christia. I think I summoned Christia one time in 12 games and literally milling a wolf, just having honest, beckoning to get back and honest on an attack declaration, like the guessing game of is that back row Threatening Roar or Beckoning Light, and then like him making a big push and then me going Threatening Roar, crackback. The matchup just felt really, really bad game one. Like I said, we didn't side deck, but like game one, it did feel very, very favored towards the like light at that, because that deck is not Twilight. It really is more like Lightsworn, and it has like a little bit more maybe of a higher fairy count just to supplement the Christias. But it was a scraping. And that scares me when I see things like that, because I'm like, what does this say? Like, when you can't beat it that game one almost, like, what does that say? Obviously, games 2 and 3 are more important, but I'm still scared. If my deck is losing almost every game one, I'm like, do I need to change my deck, or do I just accept that this matchup is that bad and hopefully I don't play against it?
Yeah.
Do you have any, like, are you Twilight PTSD like me and Frazier right now? Or are you, like, what are you feeling in the deck? Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of PTSD against for that deck. It's more so post side that Lightsworn decks are scary. But that's probably because I've been playing a lot of like Blackwing variants and stuff, and Nitro variants and hybrid. And those decks are terrified of like the Decree consecrated stuff. So that's where that deck scares me. I just feel like you have to like race that deck, and if they draw the lotto hands of like recharge charge, you just have to pray basically at that point, because they're probably going to slaughter you. Like,
It's
you know
weird though,
what I mean?
because I had the same mindset before Jake won Chicago, and now that everyone's like a mini Twilight Jake XO player, like, and now that the list has been refined, I'm just like, dude, I don't know if it's the list that's like really that good, or like I'm just getting unlucky, but it doesn't feel like that to me anymore, at least game one.
Yeah,
But like for me, game 2 and 3 is easier. For you, I know it's way harder.
right. When I play against it, I feel like a lot of times it's like a circumstantially good deck. Sometimes when they have Crow in their hand, it's going to be terrible. Other times it's going to be busted, right?
Yep.
Sometimes when they have Aaron in their hand, it's going to be terrible. Other times it's going to be busted. Sometimes Snipe Hunter is going to be really good. Sometimes it's going to be like their whole deck's kind of like that though.
Yeah.
So like when you lose to it, it's because their circumstantial hands just really good into what's going on.
It lined up.
So yeah, I kind of feel the opposite of you guys. I don't think I've lost a game 1 to that deck in tournament yet.
Must be nice.
Yeah, but I mean, I also haven't dealt with much of the charge, recharge. Like when that happens against any Lightsworn deck, to be honest, it feels like, oh, okay, this one's over. Like I have to get really lucky, or they have to screw up colossally. And I think the other thing before is a lot of good players would kind of stay away from Twilight because of that lack of consistency.
Yep.
But more of them play it now, so it's even more annoying because they won't throw the winning hands like other players will.
I feel like, yes, Twilight is more popular. I remember there was a time where I used to say to like my whole group, right? Like me, a True Hero, Luke, Gary, Stango, like all of us, we would talk about Lightsworn and Twilight and like losing to it. Because I think at that time, this was like 2025, but before Orlando. And I was saying how I really haven't lost to a Lightsworn deck or like a Twilight deck or anything like that in the format. But I said, I am due for one. I'm due to just get sacked, like ruined by the deck. Like I'm due to just get a really, really bad loss to Lightsworn, because everyone is due. And in 2025 at Orlando, I played against Yugioh Sakari in round 2, and I was playing Hero Frogs, and I drew not great, and he drew great, and I got fucking 2-0'd, 0 diffed. Did not do anything. I remember one of the games, my hand was so bad that I like lost to a Jane. I remember him summoning Jane and like just Jane attack. And then like maybe like I went first summon Stratos and he went like summon Jane attack. I think that's exactly what happened. He summoned Jane attacked. And then like Jane milled. I think she hit a wolf or a Gardner or a plague. She hit something. And like the game, it was like over. I just lost. I think on next turn I set Dupe Frog and I started losing the game real bad. And I was like, oh, it finally happened. I finally lost to like a Lightsworn or Twilight deck. And I didn't think much of it. I said, oh, that was my one. I was due for that. And then end of the year, like Chicago RBT, I lose to Twilight again. And then LDS Vegas this year, after my Japan trip, I lose to Twilight again. And pretty much all of my losses have been like mono Twilight. Like mono Twilight is fucking just ruining me, bro. And it's always the same type of thing. Like they just get there. I'm talking about when JoJo beat me game 2, I remember he used Lightning Vortex, and that was like he had no cards in hand. It was everything that he had, because if I got like another turn, I'm pretty sure like at that point my Miracle was going to be live or something, or I was finally going to be able to like make a crackback and pretty much win and get the game 3. It was like, nope, Lightning Vortex you, use all my cards. It was like Lightning Vortex plus stack for Plague, make Goyo and attack you for like exact game or something, and like I have no other cards, so if this doesn't go through, I lose kind of thing. And Jake did the same thing to me in Top Cut. He went the game where I had Lightning Darkness Dragon on the field, and he's like very few cards. He goes draw and summon JD and like pay, and the Lightning Darkness Dragon gets wiped out. Then he pays, and then he summons a second JD and attacks for game. Like raw double JD, like no reincarnation or anything, just like raw. I just happened to have double JD in this moment, and it was like everything. He had no more cards in his hand. It was like summon double JD. I think y'all were standing there at the time, and that's how I lost in Top Cut a game 2 against Twilight. It was like, damn, that's kind of wild. Like he just happened to have double JD specifically in that moment where my life points were high. I had a lad out. I felt very comfortable, obviously, and that happened. And then Vegas was very similar. Like my opponent milled a wolf. I went for the colossal arm. I went for double colossal army arm because he actually had a garden engrave. I made double colossal army arm, and he ended up having honest in his hand. And he also ended up, and this is his first. He only took one turn. He also milled Gardner turn one. So, and that was important because his field was Lumina, Lila, Wolf, all in attack mode. I make double colossal. You said what? Yeah, I make double colossal.
He put them all in attack mode too. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I make double colossal army arm turn. This is my first turn, so I go second. I make this field, and he dusted me, and he chose the wrong card. I make double colossal fighter army arm turn one, which is fucking wild because that is 8 cards. And I went second. I got dusted. So from 5 cards, I made 8 cards. Made this field, attacked his wolf, and he goes honest. So then I go attack into the wolf again. So he takes 56, and I take like a lot as well because I'm taking 21 the first time, or I'm 31 the first time because the wolf is big from army arm. So I immediately take like 31. Then I crash again, and I take 31 again. So at this point, I've taken like 62, and he's taken 28 twice. And then I'm like, it's so annoying that you milled Gardner because like I go attack Lumina, right? He's like, let Lumina die. Like, take the damage, let Lumina die, because it doesn't kill him. And I go attack Lila, which would be game, but he goes Gardner. So I ended up losing because on the following turn, he draws Mirror Force, that's Mirror Force. And I'm like, that like, is that really Mirror Force, bro? Like, is that actually that? I have double Colossal in the field. He puts everything in defense mode, and I attack, and he Mirror Forces me. And I was like, okay, I guess. And the other loss was very similar. The guy draws the 3 cards, plays Monster Incarnation, adds back JD, summons JD, and I was like, wow, GG, and like attack, double JD. 3 cards, exactly. Like the Monster Incarnation, one in the grave, one in the hand, kill you. At 5,900, I took a wolf attack that game, and that's it. 5,900 die. And like both of these players, I didn't know at the time. Gary told me that you can check people's records on Top Deck. So like Gary found my opponents and like looked at their records after they beat me, and I think both of them just went like lost the next 2 rounds after beating me.
Yeah, dude. It's like I used to think combo decks and decks like Lightsworn, I used to call them like kamikaze players because if you high roll, it doesn't matter who you're playing against, you're just gonna win.
Yep.
But the thing is, it's so much variance that you're just gonna go like, I feel like Lightsworn and combo decks more often than not go like 3-3 or something. Like I feel like it's like really common.
100%.
But they're like those 3 wins could be like anyone. It doesn't matter. And the thing with Twilight though versus combo decks is combo decks are actually like harder to play because you have to know like, you know, when to go in, when to not go in more.
Yeah.
But Lightsworn decks, it doesn't matter what you do. Like mill 3, have I milled broken, doesn't matter. Like I'm not saying there's no skill at all, but like it's very the skill ceiling. You cannot tell me Lightsworn is harder than like Value Turbo Hero Frog. Like you cannot convince me.
It's not even close. It's not even like slightly close.
Yeah, so there's just these kamikaze players just going in like it doesn't because the skill ceiling is lower. They can just like do whatever, and it's almost as if you're playing like I don't want to say like it's as if you're playing JXO because JXO is going to play better than them, but like it's like closer than it should be. Right,
it's closer than it would be if you played against like a random value player or playing against Eric. I feel like playing against JXO and playing against the random Twilight player is closer than playing against a random value player, as close as it is to playing against Eric. It's kind of how I feel. And that is just to say that, like, yes, Jake is good with Twilight. Like, he understands how to play the game better than most of the Lightsworn people who've copied his list, essentially. But when they win, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. It doesn't really matter how they played most of the time, because they understand the basic concept of, like, I have Solar Recharge and a Wolf in my hand. What thought is there? Like, there's nothing to think about right there. There's no decision tree. I have Solar Recharge and a Wolf. I'm activating these 2 cards together. And if I happen to mill something good, or if I happen to hit 4 names early, guess what's happening? I'm dropping JD. Because I don't, like, what else am I supposed to do? And if you have a back row, I'm summoning Lila. It's kind of, there's not really much to think about there. It's like your decision tree is, do I have it? Did I mill it? Okay, I did. Then do the thing. And the thing is very obvious to everybody who plays these decks. And there are these niche situations that, like, yes, they might not see a Mistworm line. They might not see a Tempest Magician line. They might miss some of those, like, more obscure things like that. They might bring back the wrong thing with Lumina or something. But if they're just milling nice, who cares? If they're just drawing double honest, who cares? Like, I remember, I hate whinging, but like my other loss in Vegas to the other Twilight guy was he summoned Arcus, he went charge, mill Gardner, summon Arcus, turn 1. I go Substitute, Foolish Burial, Dandelion, get Death Frog, attack it. He goes honest. I go, okay, that's fine. That's a -1, right? Like, my guy can't die in battle. So my Death Frog, I just take 12, main phase 2, dupe block, setup, whatever, flip flop, whatever. On the following turn, I do the exact same type of thing. And I attack him again, and he has honest again. So he's -2. I took 24, but he's -2 on honest interactions. He's drawn both of them. He's milling. He milled guard. He still has not used the guard yet. And I end up losing this game because he ends up going like Lightning Vortex, double JD. He's the guy with the monster incarnation. Yeah, he's the guy who went minus so bad that he ended up with just 3 cards at the end of the game. And my life points were still really high, but he went monster incarnation for JD, summon JD, pay 1,000, summon second JD, attack for game. And that's how I lost. And I was like, that game was fucking cursed. Like that game was so cursed. So yeah, like I don't know, that type of stuff, like when that happens, where you're just like using honest to keep Arcus on the field, which is smart. That is correct. Like I'm not mad at that part. I'm mad at the part where you also get rewarded by having double JD after that. like
yeah. No, I think the only like the biggest skill check with that deck is when you're playing it is just escaping the bad hands. Like how you can get to a point in the game where you can get like that deck, you know how we say like value gives you chances to get lucky?
Yeah.
This deck's like taking that to the extreme. Like when it doesn't draw well, its whole game plan is how can I maximize my chances to get lucky now?
Like I don't even know what you do when you draw bad. It's like what Frazier said. Like when he was opening bad, it's like I have to summon Arcus Mill too. Like it's the only thing I can do.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't even know how like good player gets. I mean, maybe you said Arcus. I don't fucking know. But like,
yeah, I think about stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not setting Arcus here. That's my hand was like I had JD. And I had Arcus and I had like Lila or one of them, and I think I summoned one of the Lightsworns. It was one of those hands that if you ever played Lightsworn ever in your life, you summoned a Lightsworn and passed, right? It's just one of those hands that's the best play to do because you need to mill. You just need to mill. And if you happen to hit like 3 names or even like 2 names and Lila gets sent to the graveyard, you're like, all right, I got 3 names in the graveyard already. It's like turn 1. And if I get one more name, I have JD live. And that's kind of the game I was trying to play. I ended up milling like dust shoot, recharge or something like that. And I was like, nice fucking deck, whatever. So yeah, the variance is too high for me to stomach. I think all 3 of us, none of us have ever played Lightsworn or Twilight in a tournament. None of us have played it in a major. I don't think any of us have like a high opinion of it as a like from the playing standpoint. Like us playing that deck, I don't think any of us are ever going to play that in Edison format seriously. Like a serious like this is the deck that I'm entering with. I just don't see it.
Never say never, bro. Never say never.
You'll try to fix it, Marcus. You'll fucking try to fix it. I can fix her. I can make her better. Talking to the fucking well, you're married now, but like before that, like talking to the stripper in the strip club, like I can fix her. I can make her better.
That's
like,
basically me in this format. And sometimes it's not fixable.
You tried GVs at the Chicago Monthly, and it was going well until it wasn't. Like it was. You tried to fix GVs, and I don't think you didn't do anything wrong. You ran into Maki Hero, which probably is one of your worst matchups.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Ninth,
and
you didn't get 9th?
10th.
Oh, 10th.
I was 10th after Swiss. Yeah, but in all seriousness, I do think Twilight is a good deck. I just think and by like those skill checks I'm talking about, Eric, it could be like a bad hand. I was actually testing the deck yesterday against Kevin. And like I had like a weird line where I crashed a plague into his smaller monster to drop Trag to then steal his monster, which allowed me to drop a JD, right? Like whereas my normal summon Lightsworn would have just attacked over his monster and I wouldn't have dropped JD and cleared the rest of the board that turn. So like those are like some of the weird lines that exist in that deck, like because there's extension via Trag or Sork or what have you. But yeah, the general game plan of just like if you have JD in hand, you have 4 guys in grave, or you have 2 darks and a reincar and dad. You know what I mean? Like those things aren't hard.
Yeah.
And those are the slams where you're just going to be upset. But
one of the other topics I wanted to talk about is the rise as well of Froggle TK really being a real contender in this format, because it would be disingenuous for me, who plays that deck and also just plays frogs, to complain about any other deck without complaining about the deck that I also partake in, and I know it's very toxic, and that is Froggle TK, Forgs. The deck has already won at least 10 majors in this format by now, like online and offline combined. Has won several tournaments online and has won many tournaments in Europe. It is definitely a contender of like, one of the best decks in the format. I think all of us kind of agree that like it's a deck to be respected. It's a deck that's terrifying. You don't want to play against it. It's not like Gigavice, where when Gigavice came out in 2025 and like Forgs also, I think Alistair had won Birmingham, the Ultimate Time Wizard. It was like, oh, like both of these decks are really scary. And I think Gigavice has basically burned out in terms of how we all feel about it. I mean, I'll let you guys speak to it, but my opinion of Gigavice is I just think it's too inconsistent. The list that everyone is jamming and trying to shove it, everyone's trying to force the same list essentially. And if that list doesn't work enough, it's like very inconsistent when it does work. Like it's like once every couple of events, you'll see a Gigavice player top. and it'll be the same people entering with the deck. Like the same way you have Dragon Turbos like Ghost Rider and a couple people who play Dragon Turbo, like Hydro Pump, right? Hydro Pump top this year, Raleigh. I think he might be the only person that topped with like Dragon Turbo. There might be like one more top for Dragon Turbo this whole year. But the same people play at every tournament and they just don't do well all the time because the deck is just like that. And I track these things, so it's like no shade to those players, but like I do see y'all playing and I do see y'all losing. Yeah, I just like I'm like, because people will be like, oh, like no one plays it, and I'm like, well, the same guy who has played it and has been playing it for a while has entered in things, and he just has not done well. So that's why no one hears about it. Yes, it's not. I'm not saying that it has great representation, but the people who do well with it are still playing it and playing in tournaments, and they just are not doing well with it. So that's more of a kind of a testament to the deck is just inconsistent. That's kind of what I think. Now, at first, we were all terrified. It has a good value matchup or whatever like that. Sure, like that's fine. That's true. But like, okay, it doesn't matter because you will almost never play against Gigavice in a tournament. It's just so rare that you play against it. And you just kind of have to hope that they brick. And a lot of times, as crazy as that may sound, that is genuinely a winning strategy. You just say, like, I think you're going to brick. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that deck's like, though I think it's like when it combos, it has the most nasty like turn one combo, like on their turn game zero, like turn zero of the game. Yeah, I just don't think it's consistent enough. And then there's other trends in the format, like Frogs playing Water Art. That used to be like a really good matchup. But if you're not comboing turn one and they have Water Art against you, it's like you like auto lose because you're waiting for that second or whatever. So yeah, and the meta is just getting faster, which gives them less time to like. If Yugioh was a deck, like if existed in Edison in 2023, 2024, 2022,
oh my God,
it'd be a lot better because they would have 2 or 3 turns, and now they get to have 8 or 9 card hand to have to combo you, right? But the fact that they basically kind of have to do it in the first 2 turns, otherwise you're just not going to get a chance to do it. Yeah, really ruins that deck. Whereas like Forgs, on the other hand, gets to actually like play the game, even if they're not hard comboing you right away.
Yeah.
I actually don't even know if Gigavice would do well back in SJC Edison because like X Saber is around, GBs are around, Doom Calibers everywhere. I don't know. I don't know. Point is, I think that deck's just way too inconsistent now that GB's good. Like GB, like if you're not comboing turn one, GB's just hurts. It's like they just go Secutor and you're just dead. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think that deck's dead. I also played against it once at LDS. What was it, the OC one in day 2? And I was playing Quick Draw, and like. He full combos me and I still win. I'm just like, I don't know how I won this game.
I did that once too, where I got full comboed. I normaled Shura, attacked over Gigaplant, colluded, got Gale out, and just Black Rose the board.
Yeah.
It was like double Power Tool, Titanial, and Gigaplant. With
y'all are funny. Yeah, I think we've all been there. I've done the same thing with Flip Flop Frog. I was playing Frog TK, he goes combo turn 1. I'll also open up Nutty, like 1-for-1 dandy type vibes, and I'm just like, all right, like we're gonna let's play ball, right? Like let's just we're all going ham. So like we just go ham against each other and we end up winning, and it's like, damn, that deck kind of sucks. Like that deck fucking, what a bricky mess you play over there. And then they only do that one game usually, and then the rest of it is like a prayer or whatever. So I don't know. Gigavice, my opinion of that deck, I used to be so scared of. I think I had it in like my top 5 or top 10 decks in the format. I don't have it as top 10 anymore. I'm sorry. I don't. I think Twilight and Lightsworn occupy like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 after we get through like, you know, Vayu, Hero Frog, Froggo 2K, GB, what am I missing? Blackwing. Those 5 top 5, and then somewhere in the next 5 is like Machina Control, Lightsworn, Twilight. What's the other one I'm missing? Dragon Turbo I think is better than the Gigavice, like genuinely. And then like there's like Diva Hero is even better. Like I just think that these decks, zombies are, but yeah, zombies especially. Zombies won a major this year. Zombies have been topping consistently. They top Retro Reborn, the one that just passed in Pittsburgh, got top 8. Yeah, I just think that like Gigavice does not lend itself to good players. It lends itself to people who understand combo lines though. Like I have seen the people who know how to play that deck, they do know like some nasty combo lines that like most people don't know. The problem is though, here's what I realized. Unlike Forgs, where Forgs, knowing the combo lines is like the easiest part to me. I think the hardest part with Forgs is putting yourself in a position to win the game. Whereas you're not doing that with Gigavice. You're not putting yourself in any position. You're waiting to draw the cards. Always. That's all you're doing. You're just waiting to draw the cards. And if you don't draw the cards, you can't put yourself in position anyway. Like what I'm saying is that Super Solar Nutrient can never do what a Dupe Frog can do. Like Miracle Fertilizer is not doing what Substitute by itself does. Like these cards that like Forks plays are so good standalone without the full combo. They do something without the full combo. Whereas like I've had hands with Gigavice where I've drawn and it's like, yes, if I get a certain card, this is a crazy combo where I can do like Colossal Army Armor, I can do like a bigger board than just regular like Titanial, Power Tool, Gigaplant. Everyone knows how to do that one. Like if you know a combo, like special combo lines, you can end up with like one more monster like a Stardust. And that's fine. That can still only happen though if you draw the exact like combo hand anyway. If you guys get what I mean, like if that makes sense. You still need to draw Supervise plus Lone Fire in some way to play the game no matter what the situation is. Whereas with Forks, you're basically playing Dream Frogs until you kill. Like you're still doing annoying shit with like, okay, I'm going to dupe block you. I'm going to sub block you. I'm going to flip flop frog you. I'm going to attack you with maybe sometimes I just get an opening and I go, okay, I'm attacking for 19 times 3, 57, eat it. And now the game is like, now the threshold to kill you is so much lower. I don't have to worry about, like, we don't have to do Colossal Armor anymore. It can just be Colossal, equip to one of your monsters, crash one guy, and you're dead. Like, just one little bullshit crash, and, like, you're dead. That type of thing. Sizzle, like, you want to say something?
Do you think GBs has a good matchup against Forg?
Yes. I think it does. However, to be, like, I don't want to say that and just be like, that is the end, right? I'm long-winded, but I'll just say, I think that matchup is very volatile. And what I mean by that is, in my experience, playing full non-converted Froggo TK against GBs is actually the way to go. I didn't know who he was at the time, but I played against Chase Simpson at Orlando when you won. And I beat him, and the way he hurked me. He like secutored me, he hurked me, he did all the things. I just kept fucking making ridiculous fields with Fishborg, and I made a Brionic, I bounced back Herc, I attacked over a guy, and then like I pot Avarice, and just like you can win if you just draw those broken Froggo TK hands, and that's kind of like a lot of the hands are just like that. You have Giant Trunade and Heavy, and then you just have like Foolish, Substitute, 1-for-1 Dandy, Morea Greed into a bunch of pot Avarices in one turn that you resolve, and then you just make a field. You can make Stardust, you can make a field of triple dupe Frog, flip flop Frog. You do like all these annoying things that it makes the matchup harder for GBs to just like outright win, whereas Dream Frogs, they can never pressure to kill.
Yep.
If you saw the video that I did a while ago, you guys probably didn't see it, but I did a video. Dehan talked about it last year. We were at Portillo's. He said, I was watching Frazier play Froggo TK in Master and Disasters, me and Kenny playing against the GB player, and the GB player goes Wabaku. I go like Trunade, the GB player chains Wabaku, and Dehan was like, oh, I think he's going to go like make a Stardust and set up dupe block with flip flop or something, because I had the cards to do that. And then a guy died that turn and he flipped Wabaku. And Dehan was like, oh my God, like I don't know shit. Like he's like, I thought you were just gonna make like a field and pass. He's like, you killed him on the same turn and he Wabaku'd. And like
Armory still works.
You said what?
Armory still works.
Armory still works. And so like you can't do that with Dream Frogs. Like that's not a thing. Like I had to put 2 Armory Arms on the thing. You can't even do that. And Dream Frogs just does not do that kind of play. My point is, yes, I think GBs has a slightly winning matchup because they have to work less to win. And that's just what a good matchup and a bad matchup is to me, is like, who has to work the harder? Who has to work hardest here? Does the Vayu deck have to work harder? Does the Frog deck have to work harder? I think that GBs work less. I think Frogs work more. I need more Ignorant card. I need more Heavy and Trunade and, like I said, 1-for-1 Dandy, Foolish, Substitute. I need more of the like specific things that are broken, but you do play them, and you do play Triple Moray, and, you know, depending on who was the die roll and stuff like that, you can set up a dupe block first turn and all that, you know, those types of things. But I do think it is slightly winning for GBs.
Why do you think in America or even IRL in general, I think Frog OTK doesn't do nearly as well as online? Or like even NA versus EU, I feel like
I think it's more
Frog
of a
OTK.
Yeah, I think that question is, so in real life, in NA, people don't play it as much. It's like me and Hector, and then the other people who play it, no shade, but I feel like a lot of people are just like randoms who don't know Frog OTK. They don't know frogs. Like, no disrespect to anybody, but I played against a Froggo TK guy in Chicago. Loved that guy. He was really nice to me, but he had no idea what he was actually doing. And so he had the cards to kill me. I remember thinking, I was playing frogs as well. I remember thinking to myself, like, I was playing Polyhero Frogs. I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm dead. He activated double Reckless turn 1. He like went first, set 2 back rows. I didn't know he was playing Froggo TK, by the way. He set 2 back rows. He went like summon swap, send Treeborn, bounce pass, set 2 back row pass. And I was like, 2 back rows? Okay, I guess I'm getting dust shoot it. And then like, he doesn't dust shoot me, so I'm like playing my turn. And then he goes, I go pass, and he goes, draw, activate Reckless, bring back Treeborn. And I was like, oh no. Like, oh no, I'm fucking dead. I don't die. And he ends up doing like some weird play. And then after the game we talked about it, I said, you had game here. You just had to do this. And so I end up coming across a lot of these people who like the idea of the Froggo TK deck. They have put in none of the work to get where you need to be. And it is not a pick up and play deck. It's not pick up and play. I'm not trying. This is not a like glaze myself moment. This is not a glaze like Hector or Alistair moment. But the people who have done well with Frog TK have 100% put in the work to do well with Frog TK. It is not a pick up and play. It's not Blackwings. You cannot just pick it up and go summon shore attack, and you're still getting towards the end of the game by doing that. Whether you're playing it correctly, whether you're slamming the Blackwing cards correctly or not, you just summoning them and attacking, which is what the deck does. That's kind of all it really does. That is still getting you towards the end of the game. You can also just do math and say, oh, you're at this amount. Like I drop Kalu here, you're probably dead, right? That's not Frogger TK. It's way more elaborate than that. And like anybody who's played the deck can tell you that. But to the point of like, why does it do better online? Which is really to say, why does it do better in Europe? Because most online is Europeans. Like that's just the bulk. One, the Italians take Yu-Gi-Oh so much more seriously than like any other community in the world. They take this shit so seriously. So like most of the wins that the deck has at this point, I think, are from like those Italy majors that are like 250 people. They cap.
Yeah.
There was one today that Frogs won, not Frog TK, but like Frog Monarchs won an event today, 310 people. And it was versus Turna in the finals. Turna is one of the best value players in the world. And he's like really he has multiple wins, really, really accomplished duelist. Mostly known for Hearthstone, but he also dabbles in Edison. He was in the finals, 310 people, lost to Frog Monarchs. And the Frog players in Europe, I feel like they just play the game more. They like grind Edison ladder more because that's like they don't have in real life as much as we do. So they grind online more and they care more and they just try more. They memorize the lines, they memorize the sequencing, the plays, they talk about it. I do feel like the American population in real life, we're way more casual, I think, with Edison overall. Like, yes, we might be competitive in this chat. I think that a lot of people who show up to events are like, this event is close to me and I'm here. Or I like playing this deck. I play it. I'm inspired by X player, whatever. But they don't really like grind to get as good as they could be with these decks. And it really hurts when you're not that good with Frogs because misplays are way more vicious with Frogs. Do you agree with that, Marcus? Like misplays and Frogs hurt more?
Yeah, as you were talking, I was going to say, because my personal opinion, I think Forgs is the best deck in Edison format personally.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think every single Forg player I've played in a tournament has had me in a spot where I should lose, but didn't lose because they didn't play it optimally. Like even as recently as not this last Chicago Monthly, but the one before where I topped with GBs, or maybe it was two before. I was playing against Leo, and he had me dead like 5 different ways, and I think he misplayed like 3 different times, and like he's a good player too. It's just like you said, you have to put in the hours for that deck. And yeah, and I know at like majors versus other good players like Santiago, who's a good player. I played him like round 2 of I think an Ultimate Time Wizard, and I beat
Florida
him.
tournament?
Huh?
Was it the Florida tournament? Or
Maybe no, I played him also in the Florida tournament. He screwed up there as well. That it's just a deck that like if it's piloted optimally, because there's times I'm watching them and I know I'm dead, but then I don't die somehow. And then it's like, oh, because you used all your cards to make this play and you didn't kill me, and you bounced a bunch of my cards to hand or whatever, now you're in trouble because I've just gonna out resource you. I'm gonna be able to set Icarus attack. I'm gonna be, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, crackback DDV, crackback Dark Arm, special grapher. Like, you have so many cards.
Yeah. Even if I make a Brio and just bounce everything and I'm down card advantage, if you don't have Subsitoad, it's not going to matter. You know what I mean? Like if I bounce everything, run over Subsitoad, and you no cards, you're under Reckless, like sure, set a monster or normal summon and pitch for the Fishborg or whatever. It's not going to be enough at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I think it's very unforgiving. The only time it's super forgiving is when you draw like just insane with multiple averages and you can screw up combo and you just have like so many cards it doesn't matter, which does happen sometimes, but there's just going to be too many key points throughout the event because not every game's like that, where if you screw up it's going to punish you.
We were watching Baku Brody, who got second at Maryland, and he's playing his value in the finals. I think Froggo TK should have won that event 100%. Just looking at the cards that were drawn objectively, like triple pot got resolved in 1 turn against an attack mode Stardust. Like, so objectively I was like, oh, he's dead. But like he didn't die that turn, and then the guy won, like the value player won, and congrats to both duelists. They played really well to get there. I also heard that in top 4, Baku Brody played against GBs. He played against my boy Willie Beeman, and I was like, oh, that's scary because like obviously they said it was over in 10 minutes. They said that it was the most ignorant Froggo TK dominant. Like you couldn't tell that GBs was a bad matchup at all the way. It was so fast. It was like one of the games was like True Nate 1 for 1 Dandy. Another game was like something very similar, where it's just like resolve like multiple things in a turn, like multiple pots or whatever like that, salvage and have like all these cards and just make like Stardust, Dupe, Flip Flop go. You're cooked. Like you'll never get out of this. Like one chariot's not even enough. Like flip flop, you have to activate chariot here. Otherwise, if I bounce all your shit, chariot's dead. So you have to chariot this. And then it's like, okay, that's your chariot. Now make anything, like any other number of things kill you. So there, like I said about the earlier point that Sizzle asked me, like, why do you think it does better? I think that people who are good with the deck, like Baku Brody is one of the people who's better with the deck than most people in this country. Like if you're good with the deck, it shows. And if you're not, it also shows more than it shows with like any other deck. But that is a good thing for the health of Edison. I think it's a good thing that it does not pick up and play. I think this format would be bad if A, Froggo TK had high representation, and B, it was easy to play.
Yep.
And I think that's not a hot take. It's just like, I am glad that Gigavice and Froggo TK and Dragon Turbo are not well represented and also not even easy to pick up. Neither one of the three is easy to pick up and play. They all have different degrees of difficulty. I think Froggo TK might be the most difficult just because there's more dueling that you do before you actually combo that is not as intuitive as just like cards of consonants, Whitestone, like play Future Fusion because I've drew it and like get these dragons, whatever. I think there's a bit more like, should I turn one? I opened up a way to dupe block, but I could also like just summon swap, send, bounce, pass. A, they might not know what I'm playing at this point because that looks like every other Frog deck. B, I don't open myself up to DDV if I have nothing on the field, right? Because it's harder to DDV if there's no monster on the field. These are decision trees, and you have to look at your hand to decide if I make a dupe block and I get DDV'd, will I just lose the game flat out, or do I have like enough gas to survive and potentially still win through that? Should I not put a monster on the field so that you can't just go Soroko DDV pass, blow up everything, and I just flat out lose? That is a real decision tree. Should I be playing my Pot of Avarices turn one? I can summon Toad and I can start playing pots turn one, but should I do that? Because when you do that, you are burning through resources without actually doing any damage. You're not trading it, like you're just going plus, which is not really the point of the deck. There's a lot of decision trees to be made and a lot more dueling before you get to the point where it's like your opponent is dead. I think the easiest part, and I said this in my video that I made where I tell people how to combo, I think the easiest part is the combos, which is why I don't care about, like, I don't care about releasing that video to the wild because it is just showing you something that you really could just look at a spreadsheet to find out. Like there's a spreadsheet for it, and I say that. There's a spreadsheet that has all the combos on it, but I know how people are. People are so lazy that they won't even study that spreadsheet. They'd rather see it done in a video on Dueling Book by me. So I make the video, and that video literally teaches you pretty much every combo that you will need is in that video. Like every combo you need, I think, is in that video. But that's just like 25% of the puzzle. I think that 75% of it is games 2 and 3, plus the like getting to the point where you win the game. And I just don't think most people know how to do that, because most people who pick up Froggo TK are not good Frog players. They just try to play Froggo TK because it's cool, it's broken, and they're like, oh man, I can just win. And like, I kind of want to cheese some people. I want to cheese some events. It's funny. But they don't know, like, once it gets to games 2 and 3, and those Dynas and those Vanity's Fiends and that third EDV and that third Greffer and like those oppressions and stuff, like once that shit starts coming in and they don't know what to do from that point, they just lose. And that's
I was gonna say also, to correct myself earlier, I think it's the best game 1 deck in the format.
Yes.
Because that's a big point to make.
Yep.
I think there's also like a niche thing that doesn't get talked about enough with that deck. That even I see a lot of good players doing correctly, and I know in my time testing the deck, this is one of the hardest things for me, is based on my hand, based on the game state with what my opponent has, what I have, knowing like how many frogs and what frogs to send to grave, knowing when I want to do an avarice play, like what should I be leaving in grave to maximize my value of my draws, but also keeping my Substitute as live as possible to do X play afterwards, right? Like I think, because so many times I'll see them dump, and I swear like they are not calculating like why they're dumping these 9 frogs and shuffling back these 5 versus maybe it's optimal to dump 8 and shuffle back a different 5, or like, you know what I mean? It just varies hand to hand. I think that's like another one of the big skill checks where like watching you, it's all so intentional versus like my random Forg opponent I play against who like dumps their whole deck and then averages like triple deaths and 2 swaps back or something. You know what I mean?
One of you played against Froggo TK in War League recently? Was it you, Sizzle?
Oh yeah, he had no idea what he was doing.
Prime example. That replay, I watched it. No shade. Everyone has different skill levels. Maybe it was his first time playing the deck. I watched every replay. It was his first time. You should have
like
lost.
History, like I should have lost.
I watched a replay recently. I didn't even tell you that I watched a replay. I watched a replay recently And I was like, oh my God, Sizzle, you were dead.
I was dead so much. Like I watched the replay too. I'm like, wait, what? And then he kind of like did no shade to him. I think it was his first time because
Okay.
I checked his match history because you can check it in really easy. Like
Yeah.
I don't think he played Forgs once, and like he might have done like the worst play.
Yes, I genuinely think he found plays that I didn't know you could do. Because I
Oh no.
I always say this. Sometimes people will do a play that I'm like, I didn't see that. Not because it was good, but because it's so bad.
I just didn't see it.
I just didn't
Like,
see it. I just didn't see it. Like I literally, my brain would never come to the conclusion of what you just did. And like, so when I watched the replay, I was like, when he had game, I was like, oh, you're dead. And then, because I saw that you won, because it tells you on the scoreboard, it's like Sizzle won. So I was like, oh, how did he win? Let me click. And then I watched, I was like, oh no, like you were dead. Like zero diff and like nothing special happened. Nothing. You didn't do anything wrong. You just were kind of sitting there with a value turbo hand or whatever deck you were playing, and he just did not know what to do. And I think that is kind of what I am speaking about, is the casualness of people playing the deck and not putting in any work to get where you need to be. It is not easy. You have to dedicate time. If we had more people who play Modern coming to Edison and committing to Frog or TK, I think there would be a genuine problem, because Modern players are used to that type of gameplay. They are used to the type of like, all I gotta do, A, memorize lines, B, what are the interrupts? In Edison, there are not many interrupts, right? Like, can you play to a DD Crow? Yes. Can you not play to a DD Crow? Figure something else out. That's essentially the tree in this format. In their format, it's like 14 different hand traps. But they have the mind of like a Frog OTK player already, because that's just how their game is. It's like set up a board, kill you, or set up a board that you can't break it and kill you on the next turn or whatever. So that's my reason why I think that it's like that. The unforgivingness of misplays. I think all of this, again, is a good thing though for the health of Edison. I do not think we want a format where a deck like Frog OTK, Gigavice, Dragon Turbo is easy to play. I know we complain about Twilight and Lightsworn, but thank God that those decks are still inconsistent and not as powerful as like a Frog OTK, Gigavice, or Dragon Turbo when they do what they do. Like even when Twilight does what it does, you can still win. And like their hands are just less consistent, I feel like, than some of the combo decks. But you don't want combo to be like so consistent and so represented in tournaments that is the average experience that, like, you know, Marcus said, I used to play no GBs, and now I play like 1 or 2 every single tournament. I don't think we want an environment where you play against 1 or 2 Frog or TK every tournament. I wouldn't like that environment. Like, if that was genuinely Edison, I would not like that shit.
Especially if it's good players, man. Like, that's one of the things that I play these retro formats because I did not prefer that style of gameplay. I think that's one of the things that keeps me off of Forgs. But I also have like the wherewithal, just playing all these retro formats, and even when I played current, I feel like I can recognize that I do believe in my heart, if we're a bunch of computers playing, that would be like the quote unquote best deck in the format.
That I agree with that take too. The computer thing, like if we played 100% perfect, I said that somebody asked me in chat the other day, what do you think would be the best deck in the format if a computer AI was trained to play it, and just like literally a computer played it? And I said, oh, it'd have to be Frogger TK 100%, because Frogger TK, so much of it is mathematical that we don't even understand as humans a lot of the time. Like you were talking about, how much should you mill down? What is the right number to like mill down your deck before playing average to maximize? And a lot of times people are just winging it. They're just like, I think this looks right. Let me play my pot. Or I think I should salvage back these 2 and then array these 2. I think that looks right. I'll just do it. And whatever happens after that. A computer would be like, well, no, it's always this exact number. It's always add back this and array this. It's always go here, then do this. Then you could play around Gores here. The chance of him having Gores based on this things that have happened on the other side of the table is this. It would just have the perfect math. And I think a lot of that deck is just like probability.
Yep.
So thank God, again, none of us are computers. Alistair's like the closest thing to one. And he loses too. So it's great. Like when I watch replays of Alistair losing, and I do like to watch those specifically just because I want to see how the best person on this deck lost the game. Unfortunately, usually it's because he got sacked in some weird way. Like the last loss he had, I watched in World League. The last loss he had was because his opponent had Dark Arm live, turn 2 both games, and just like killed him both games, like the same way. It was like he didn't do anything wrong, obviously, because that's like he monos that deck. He didn't do anything wrong, but his opponent just happened to have like specifically Dad, and it was live, and it was turn 2 both games, and it was like kill you on the first battle phase of the game, like that type of game twice. And I was like, oh, well that'll do it. Like that will get it done. So I'm looking for like is there something else? And it's like, no, usually it's something like that. Like usually it's some absurd thing like, whirlwind, Shura, dust shoot, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, or the side hate thing, because like I will say that's when I watch Forgs, I feel like their win rate game one is like insanely high.
Yeah.
And when they do lose a match, it's like game 3, they don't have any sort of sweeper and they have to play into like an oppression, and then their opponent has it. Something as simple as that.
Yeah, and I do follow War League for watching replays mainly, even though the stats of War League are interesting because they're not truly indicative of what real Yu-Gi-Oh is like, because people do like some weird shit in War League. For example, I remember watching replays of people, they knew they were playing against a team of people who all played frogs. It was called like literally Frog Pond. These guys played frogs. Like it was a team of frog players, and that's what they did. And I believe that I watched a replay of someone playing GBs with Master Restrict main decked, and I was like, okay, like once, like that is not real, right? So that is this type of stuff that those are anomalous. You have to like that's the extremities. You have to kind of outlier, admit those out of the statistical data. Yeah. Unfortunately, that stuff still gets compiled in the data. But I was looking at the win rates in War League this season, and Twilight had the highest win rate, like period. Oh, wow. I think it was like 56%. The next was like, I think GBs, and then I think it was Frog OTK. Those were like the top 3 decks by win rate. Hero Frogs was doing terrible. Like almost every other deck was just like not doing great. The highest was like 56 or 58% was Twilight, and it had a decent sample size too. Like honestly, I was kind of like, oh shit, I don't know why. Like I didn't really watch the Twilight replays to see like what is happening in these games. I kind of can guess because it happened to me, but I saw that, I was like, that is so weird to me that Twilight is the best performing deck in War League. Again, do not extrapolate, if you're listening to this, do not extrapolate anything from this, because War League is not the same as regular Yu-Gi-Oh outside of War League. That is like a very specific environment with a very specific kind of person who plays that, and the things that people have done to make their decks good against another team are not following what you would do in any major event. Like some of the main deck choices that I've seen, and some of the side deck choices too, you would never, like there's some shit that you're like, you would never see this except for the fact that like these guys know they're playing against a team of GB players, and so they're all playing Hero Beat this week. So Hero Beat looks better than it actually is, like it's performing better. But it's like, well, that's a little disingenuous because you guys knew you were playing against GBs, and there's a bunch of you playing Hero Beat, and Hero Beat ends up winning, and it's like, oh, Hero Beat looks good again. No, it's not. Take it to a major, you'll get scraped.
Yeah, I think Hero Beat was the best performing deck season 2, actually.
80% win rate at one point.
Crazy.
Oh,
80%.
Geez,
yeah, I made a video about it. A clickbait ass thumbnail, because it was at the time it was true. It was like 80% win rate, best deck in the format. But again, War League. It was contextually, it was like, oh, it's beating Black Wings, and there was that narrative that like Black Wings loses to Hero Beat. I never really bought into that. I was like, every time I said it, I was like, people say Hero Beat beats Black Wings. Then Black Wings started playing draw traps, and it just cooked that whole matchup.
Yeah. It was just that iteration of how Black Wings were played probably struggled a little bit more.
Yeah, they were getting real cards with Gemini Spark.
The other weird thing about Twilight, I remember doing a video reviewing like the meta back in like earlier mid 2025. And I remember when I was doing the research on it, because I feel like at that point in that time, everyone thought like Christiosworn was probably the best version of Lightsworn.
Same.
Even I thought that. And then I was like, this is weird. Like Christiosworn and Pure Lightsworn each have like 1 top, but then randomly Twilight had like 4, and like no one talked about it. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I my next tier list video, I think I had rated Twilight ahead of it because of that. And then I think you also did a similar video where you also pointed out like, oh, Twilight's actually doing the best out of these decks.
Yeah.
And then it's like, since then, I don't even see the other version of Lightsworns like hardly ever. It's almost only Twilight.
Same. But yeah, I don't know what came first. Like if everyone else came to the conclusion that those videos that we put out influence people to play Twilight more or something, but Christiosworn is not existent now. Does not exist. I have not seen a Christiosworn list in over a year. Dan Rose, the guy who actually won an Ultimate Time Wizard Niagara with Christiosworn, I haven't seen him go to tournaments anymore. And even when he was around, I think he was like the only person I did see playing that deck. So it's completely fallen now. I don't really know why, because I still think that there's potential there. I just don't know how to build it, and it's not really my job to do that because I don't care. But I'm surprised that like, I shouldn't say no one, but no one that I know, and I know a lot of people, no one that I know, none of the really good deck builders that I know are specifically working on Christiosworn, and it just seems like a weird situation where Edison right now has no Christia deck. None.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That seems wrong, right?
Well, they all kind of get wrecked by deck dev.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
So
my
that's
issue.
the biggest, yeah. I think Pudding is like the best Christian. Like that was the most. Well, actually, Pudding and Marcus's reckless Christian deck that he like 6-0'd me with in his basement that one time. But yeah,
Another anti-value deck, and then you double DD. That was right before Orlando too. I don't know if you remember. And then you won Orlando because that's when the joke started. Like, oh, just test with Marcus before you play an event.
No. It wasn't Orlando because Orlando was you were scraping me with Gigavice.
No, that was scraping with
Oh,
Gigavice was the
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it was that was Orlando. The Gigavice was right before the.
Basically, every time I get scraped by
RRT.
Marcus, I win an event. So we need to test more Marcus.
There you go. Now, another development, and this is, we can start to wrap up. I don't want to take up too much time. We could probably do another one of these, but another thing that happened, a big development, is the intro of Nitro Value 2025. And I think that this has done the same thing that Frog OTK kind of did with. So when you play against frogs and they go summon swap frog or summon substitute, get swap frog, summon like Sentryborn, bounce, pass. That looks like anything. It could be Frog OTK, it could be Hero Frogs, it could be Frog Monarchs, it could be Dream Frogs, whatever. You name a frog deck, it could be all of them. And Value Turbo was the standard list for so long, and it was basically always played the same way for the most part. Maybe one or two hamsters, whatever. But like at the end of the day, Value Turbo was like, how many hamsters do we play? That was like the big thing. Other than that, though, every list looked the same. Nitro Value comes in, and it doesn't play the Rykos at all. It doesn't play like hamsters at all. And it's playing like triple Armageddon Knight, triple Greffer, Icarus attacks, draw traps, all this other shit. But it can look like the other Value deck for a little while if you're not, like, for example, Summon Greffer Pitch looks like Value Turbo, because you guys do that in the Ryko build as well. They can go Summon Greffer Pitch, and you're just like, that looks normal. Or Summon Armageddon Knight, Send Gardner, looks like every Value deck I've ever seen. It's very deceptive, and then you could end up setting two back rows, and they go in-phase Icarus attack you on something, and you're like, oh shit. Like, they go T-set, and you're like, okay, I think it's Value, and then they Icarus attack you, and you're like, whoa, this is actually not Value Turbo. Value Turbo doesn't typically play Icarus attack. Now that part has changed too. We're now in a format where like a lot of Value lists. I want to say now the bulk of them that I've been seeing, like Keezy, who won Retro Reborn Detroit, shout out to him. He played Icarus in his main deck. A True Hero was playing Icarus in his main deck in Anaheim. A lot of people who I think, I forget if Montashir, who won Retro Reborn Maryland, was playing it, but I know I've been seeing a lot of Lilas and a lot of Icarus attacks in the deck in general, 2025. And then, Dirk winning an event this year, but the deck really came out last year at Chicago, finally gets its win this year. And it's just kind of like a different way to play Value. I do wonder what your opinion is now, Sizzle, because at first I know what our opinions was when it first premiered. It's been almost a year since Chicago when the deck first came out. And I'm just wondering, how do you feel about Nitro Value now that you've had a full like 10 months or so to really play against it, maybe even play with it, maybe see, like, watch it a lot and say like, okay, this is how I feel about this deck now. Like, how do you feel?
I always thought it was good. Obviously, it's Value at the end of the day, so it's still a Value deck, so it's still good. If you were asking me which one do I think is better, I still think regular Value Turbo is better but the upside of Nitro is that, okay, so there's two upsides. The only reason I would play Nitro is for two reasons. One, if I really feel like at the point, like Edison gets to a point where like it's like super unfair, like I don't know, like another unfair deck comes out or something, and like Value's like, just like bottom of the barrel, then yeah, maybe you have to play the Nitro, like the draw cards, because the only way you can win is if you see Dad Burial. That's one thing. The second thing is it's not weak to deck Devi, so it like has a better mirror matchup. Those are the only two reasons. Like Icarus, cool card, obviously broken card, but that's not really if you're gonna play Icarus, like if you think Icarus is a broken card, just play Blackwing, right? Like that's not the broken reason. Now, but I do think Wooing is fucking broken, because Wooing doesn't play draw traps, but it plays all the other trap cards and it plays Brain Caius. So basically you have to play around so many more cards. Like it's really hard playing against Wooings. It's actually easy playing if I know it's Nitro, it's actually easy to play against Nitro because they don't play that many. There's not that much to play around. Like, like, did they draw Dead or Burial or not? There's not like, it's more linear, I guess is the thing I should say.
It has that's how Dirk builds. Dupless Hero Frog was so linear. It was like, I've cut out every trick that the deck could do. It now just summons Monarchs and plays Miracle Fusions, and that is all it does. Now, that is strong enough to basically win a tournament. It is strong enough to get to the finals of a tournament. It's strong enough to top. It's strong enough to go undefeated in Swiss. But like, obviously when you strip a deck of like all the other things about it and streamline it to the point where it is lost all of its identity except it does this one thing really, really well. Summoning Zero is broken. Summoning Monarchs are broken. So it is still, and like you said about that Nitro value deck, it's still value no matter what. So it's still good. It's still frogs, right? It's still hero frogs. Even if you take the dupes out, even if you take Junk Synchron out, even if you take out econs and stuff like that, it's still frogs. So like, yes, it's still going to do well because that the engines are so strong it doesn't matter. But if we're talking about, if we're trying to get to the best version of the decks, right? And that's kind of what more so, like, I know Nitro's a good deck. You know Nitro's a good deck. We know Value Turbo's a good deck. But if you're saying, like, what is the better version objectively, and, like, you're trying to list out reasons why, like, Nitro is better or worse, Value is better or worse, Hero Frogs with dupes, Hero Frogs without dupes, Hero Frogs with AoE, Hero Frogs without AoE, etc. If you're trying to figure out, like, what is the best, and we're trying to pros and cons of all these cards that we're all playing to try to make decks better, pros and cons of playing triple DDV and triple Greffer right now and stuff like that. Like, people are trying all types of stuff to get advantages. The Foolish Burial, the Retro Reborn Pittsburgh had 2 players who topped with the same list, same 41 cards. Scotty's Real Dad and Adam Urich.
Don't get me started on that, bro.
Say it again.
Don't get me started on that.
Oh, the maining Foolish, triple Greffer, and like, so that, you know, that's a thing. And we've seen stuff like this before. Oscar Zelaya back in like 2024 was playing Foolish Burial, and like he condensed his deck down a lot to get it to a point where like it's super streamlined, and he's not really big on Raikou, never really was. So he played like one hamster double Raikou, I think. But we've seen all kinds of like weird things that they have worked, right? Like he almost won that tournament. So yeah, I'm always wondering like, what do you think about it? But like you said, if you think you're playing against Nitro, it's easier to like play against it because it's so linear at what it does. Like, you don't have to play MST randomly on a back row, right? Like stuff like that. Cause like it's a draw trap, bro. Like, don't touch it. Or it's an Icarus. Like, don't be randomly out here flipping Raikous into their back row. You're going to get punished every time because it's just going to be a chainable card every single time. Like, they don't really play unchainable cards. And by the time they do, they kind of disguise them.
Yep. And they lose some luster as well. Like, having played a lot of Nitro and Hybrid in recent months, something that actually happened to me in the most recent tournament was a Shadow Imprisoning Mirror getting flipped on me. And that's like not a card I'd ever planned to play around because people just don't side it.
Yeah.
And I was against a Machina player, and I was like, this card is soloing me right now.
Yeah.
So if like those decks continue to get more popular, there's definitely like more like Consecrated, a God card versus those decks. Shadow Imprisoning is insane versus those decks. Royal Decree, because their trap counts. Like, that was one of the beauties of like Eric's Value Turbo deck, is like there isn't like a catch-all side deck card for it. Like, it's kind of like everything you side in, similar to Hero Frogs, can be good, but also can just be really bad.
Yeah,
like,
cross out.
Depending on, right.
Like, you can have a game where cross out was really good. You can also have a game where cross out doesn't get used and it sits in your hand and you die. And that is, I think, Value Turbo's biggest strength in the entire format is what you said. There's no silver bullet in the side deck for it. Value Turbo specifically, the one with hamsters and Raikous. Once you play Nitro or Wu Wings or whatever, the builds that just don't play anything but Dark Monsters, literally, maybe a Card Trooper. Once you play that build, though, you do give yourself some weaknesses that the deck did not have. And that is Consecrated and Shadow Mirror and weird stuff like that genuinely did not affect the deck really at all. Like, I'd argue that they just don't affect the deck enough to, I would never tell somebody to side Consecrated against Value Turbo. Like, Value Turbo with Raikous. I would never suggest that. I think that's crazy. Every time I see people do that, usually they're a newer player. They're like, oh, that deck, they beat me with all these Dark Monsters, so surely Consecrated is good. It's like, well, no. They play double hamster, Card Trooper, 3 Raikous, charge the Light Brigade. After game 1, they might have Indina depending on what you're playing. They might have the Cyber Dragon depending on what you're playing. It ain't good. And then they have DDV on top of that. Consecrated is a horrible idea against the Sizzle 41. Horrible. Could you win a game with it? Sure, if you get very lucky and the stars align. Does that mean it's good? No.
Yeah, I think that's one thing people don't realize is like like people always talk about like a card, like just not just Consecrated, it's like any card, like, oh, I won a game with Kaiku against this deck. You're like, well, yeah, like any card, like literally any card can win a game. Literally any card. It's just true. Like how consistent are. Yeah.
People always ask me about that card, and like we saw Soul Release at the Chicago Monthly get used against Hero Frogs, and he lost 0 diff. Like honestly, when the game ended, like I don't think he lost life points. Like at turn 1, he like got Soul Release basically, but had a dupe block up. He like broke his own dupe block to make like an android, and then like started drawing drawing Miracle Fusion Straddle because he thinned his deck out, obviously. So his deck was just literally Monarchs, Miracle Fusions, Traps, and apparently Stratos was still left in the deck. So he drew Miracle Fusion first, and he drew Stratos next, and it was like, yep, GG. Like Black Wings just lose insta. And so it's like, yes, there are games that you will watch though, and it could go the other way where Soul Release would have been insane, right? Like Soul Release could have been insane. My experience with Soul Release, and I think most people's experience with Soul Release though, is the former where you play it and you lose the game. It doesn't do much of anything because it's after the fact. They have to have a graveyard that is worth soul releasing for you to play the card. But that means that they might have already used this resource of the graveyard being set up before you can soul release, or they've already done enough to where soul releasing doesn't matter right now. Like it doesn't matter that you got to do it. And so, yes, soul release can be good. I'm not saying it's a card that is always bad, but I personally don't like entering tournaments with cards that are that volatile. Like I have a hard time wrapping my mind around playing a card that is so volatile, and that's why I don't like Crossout. Like, yes, Crossout sometimes will beat the Sizzle 41. Sometimes you'll cross them out on a Ryko, and the game is over. Like they just like the deck can just fall apart or whatever. But like, there's so many more games I think where Crossout just doesn't do anything. Like you cross out, it's a Vi. You cross out to Gardner. You cross out, it's a Hamster. All the Rykos are left. You cross out, and it's just like anything that's not like it's just simply not Ryko. Or they drew 2 Rykos, and so you cross out one, and they banish one, and you're like, oh fuck, did he side out one, or does he just have the other one in his hand? It's like he has that one in his hand, but you don't know it. If he sets any monster, no matter what it is, you're scared now. Like you're paranoid. You're playing different. Just so many things wrong, right? And so yeah, high variance cards are like a part of Edison format. I think it's also what makes the game kind of good, like the format really, really good. We don't have even our floodgates are not that strong as they are in Redo, for example, where the floodgates are like ridiculous in Redo.
Yeah, but I will say the one benefit is that most of the floodgates are sided because they're not good against everything.
Yeah.
And they have triple MST heavy. But yes, I agree. Floodgates are one of the biggest negatives for Redo. And then the fact that rank 4 decks have access to a floodgate via the extra deck. I think those are the 2 big like
Is that Shockmaster?
negatives. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those
luckily,
are the 2 biggest negatives.
Yeah, luckily Shockmaster is not like it's not the thing that every deck is doing to you, but especially for like Windup is the one that does it kind of for free. Gear can do it as well, but it takes a lot of resources, and oftentimes Gear can just do anything else. If they can do that, they can do like anything else. But Windup can literally make Shockmaster for fucking free, and that's like problematic. But yeah, I just think like floodgates. Luckily, Rivalry and Gozen have wrong rulings in Edison that make those cards not good. I think Edison would be way worse if I went bring back Treeworm Frog and the Blackwing player flipped Gozen on me and looked at me. Like,
suck.
What would like bring back Treeworm Frog after chain goes in? There's nothing. Like, there's nothing. You can't summon Stratos, can't summon a Monarch, can't play Miracle Fusion, can't like just lose. Like, just straight up lose the game off to Blackwing. Blackwings would be so absurd. Like, bring back Treeworm, activate Rivalry. Continue.
Yep. Yeah.
What do you do? Eat shit and die? Like, what do you do? Like, luckily that is not the format. Even like I say, Vanity's Fiend, very good against frog decks, obviously. Sure. But one, the games go so long, even when Vanity's Fiend hits the field, that like, because like you can't special summon either. So it's not like you're pressing me with like crazy monsters. You're like usually a Vanity's Fiend by itself attack every turn. And there are a lot of turns to draw outs. You could also just have an out that you were holding for Vanity's Fiend because you're aware that like Vanity's Fiend might be a thing, and you get enough turns to actually like play out of it. And so I think that's like it contributes to the format being good in that way, where games 2 and 3, even the side deck cards are like, we say blowouts, but when you look at other formats, you're like, it's not a blowout like that. Like DD Crow is not a blowout against Froggo TK. Vanity's Fiend is not a blowout against Lightsworn or, you know, Frogs or whatever. Like, you know, Kaiku's not a blowout against Value Turbo. It's good. Like, these cards can be good against these decks. Like, Pulling the Rug is good against Hero Frogs. Is it a blowout? No. Will it instantly win the game? Usually not. Like, usually don't get more turns than that. But like, yeah, it stops a Kaius on my Ryko. That's great. If it stops a Kaius on my Armwing and Greffer, that's insane. That probably wins the game. But like, there are things that like you can do after you get hit with a side card, which I think is really good for Edison. I think Edison is good in that way, that like side cards are not so powerful. They're just good.
Yeah, no, I agree with that wholeheartedly. But Edison is like the big benefit to it is I just feel like other than DDV, there's not a lot of cards that like stop you from just playing the game, period. Yeah. DDV is the only one. But really now with the current meta, most decks just play in a way where even that you're choosing to play a deck to lose to that if you're going to lose to DDV a lot more often than not. And yeah, I don't know. That's the only gripe I have with Edison format, I think, is DDV. I know other people complain about cards like Brain and stuff. I think Brain's fine.
Yeah, I think
I know
Brain's
people
super fine
complain
now.
about Trap Dust Shoot.
Yep.
And though it sucks, I still think it's fine because games last so long in Edison.
Yeah.
Because even though we talk about these decks like that can kill you turn one, it very rarely happens. Most of my games are gonna go 5, 6, 7, 8 turns. Like,
Yep.
yeah. So
Yeah, I
that's my
agree.
biggest critique.
I think DDV is like the single most ridiculous card in the format because it actually affects you outside of the game.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The
like
building
building.
process.
Yeah, bro. Like you don't
I
build
meant
with,
like you're traumatized. I was like, what are you talking?
That's actually true. That's true.
like you don't build with Trap Dust Shoot in mind, right?
I do a little.
No, I mean like seriously though, you can't. There's nothing you could do about Trap Dust Shoot. But like I get okay, you play Charge the Light Brigade, Sizzle. You play Rhoda. I think that you should be playing those cards. I think you should be playing those cards regardless of Dust Shoot, by the way. I think those cards are just good. I think Charge the Light Brigade being at 1 is very good for the format. That card mills 3 and searches a guy that's broken. So outside of the game, outside of dueling, DDV literally impacts like how you build your deck. I literally count how many cards in this deck get DDV'd. And every deck I play in the tournament, like no matter what deck I'm playing, I'm like, damn, what's my DDV like exposure here? I think everyone's asking themselves that question because you should be asking yourself, what is my DDV exposure? And
Yep.
like Marcus says, some people choose to enter a tournament that gets blown the hell out by DDV. Please don't walk up to us complaining about it though. Like, yeah, your deck, you're playing fucking quick draw or fairies or something like that. Yes, you are going to get DDV by some guy.
One thing I have to say about the DDV thing is I do feel like it's a little overblown because only one deck mains DDV.
That deck is so popular though, Sizzle.
It is. But like,
It's a deck that you're guaranteed.
Of a tournament.
You just have a losing value matchup, is what I'm saying. It's not like, oh, DDV is like, like in every deck. It's just like, yeah, you have a losing value matchup because you're weak to DDV.
I don't know if they even have a losing value matchup as much as like for example, you guys believe, you and Swifty believe that quick draw beats value.
Yes.
Do you think it's strictly because of DDV, or do you think that like the matchup is naturally good for quick draw? Like the way
I think quick draw. I think the only way value can realistically win is if it sacks, obviously, or it has to open DDV.
Right. So that's an example of where DDV is more problematic than like the matchup. Like to me, I think value beats quick draw because DDV is a part of the deck, and you are going to play against value, guaranteed. You're going to play against it, and if you get DDV with quick draw, it's kind of like a meme. Like,
yeah,
like your whole.
I was just gonna say I agree completely because even if it were 60-40, like if it was that bad, there's still going to be 20 some odd % of games now where you get to open DDV. So like it literally can't be 60-40. That's just in the fair games. It's 60-40.
Yes,
You know what I mean,
I agree. Like I have a hard time accepting that like a quick draw deck beats value when value's maining like the Sizzle 41. I have a hard time believing that just because after game 1, especially double oppression, like double DDV, they have to side out some of their cards, I guess, that make them their deck. Like you have to side out. I would assume that you probably side out some number of quick draws or something. Otherwise, you get blown out by every sided card that you put in. Like oppression and DDV both fucking solo the hell out of you. Even if you get off Drill Warrior, I set oppression and go pay 100, draw phase or standby phase, you lose.
Yeah, you definitely side out quick draw. Yeah.
Yeah, so like at that point, you're like you have to side out your deck. Like you have to side out it's called quick draw, Machina Hero or quick draw, whatever. You're siding out of the.
Quick draw's the worst card in quick draw.
It is. No, it really is. But like my point is that DDV, like you say, it's overblown, and I don't know. I feel like you play against value so much. I have never played in a tournament since 2023 when Kalinda won. I have not played a single major where I didn't play against value more than once, by the way.
Yeah, same here. I don't think I've ever had a tournament where I've played less than 3 of them throughout the course of the tournament.
Yep.
Assuming I finished the tournament.
Yeah, you get like far enough or whatever. Like, you don't like lose, you don't go like 0-2 or something. But like if you played 8 rounds,
no, agreed. Yeah, and that means even value variance, right? So like DDV in the main deck in some way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It is definitely trending less and less. It used to be like almost 50%. At least it felt like 40 to 50% of the people playing in tournaments. Now it's probably a lot closer, like 20, 25%.
Yeah. But it's going down for sure. And like Black Wings don't main it like they used to, because it wasn't even just Vayu that was making it so annoying. When it was overblown, it was because Blackwing and Vayu were both maining the card.
Yeah.
And that is just like, God damn it, y'all both play this card and this card, and like you guys take up half of the tournament entrance. Like half the people playing in this fucking tournament, like 45% are playing Bird. So it's like, yo, every round I'm playing against a guy who might DDV me. So I have to really consider DDV every time I build a deck because it's gonna happen and you just have to accept it. I don't even get mad at it. I'm just like, yep, here's my hand. Here's the cards that you get. You get these 2 cards. Hopefully I just can survive and outlast it. I've gotten a lot better at playing into DDV because I just have to as a frog player. Like it, you know, every frog deck I've played, honestly, since DDV has become super popular, I've been playing like salvages and stuff. So I've adapted just like most of the frog community has, and frogs still win so much despite this. So in that way, it's overblown because it's not like it's stopping. Like frogs win rate haven't gone down. Like the winner, like frogs still win majors every other month, if not every month. Like the deck still wins a lot, despite the fact that DDV is supposed to be like, oh my god, it ruins frogs. I don't know how you could, like people say, like I don't know how you can play frogs with a format that like has DDV in it. And I'm like, it hasn't stopped the deck from doing well, not once. Like the deck still does well all the time, and like the same people who taught with frogs still taught with frogs and do well with frogs. Despite that, we just adapt it. Like you have to. It's the format.
Right, yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Some decks just aren't capable of making that adaptation, like Christia Sworn, in my opinion, versus like frogs. You know, I would love to play frogs with 2 Battle Fader in my deck, but can't do that.
Can't do it.
Yeah, have to respect DDV, and like there's other choices I'd make in frogs that I would definitely main specific cards that you just can't, in my opinion, versus like Christia. What are you gonna, you're not gonna play Herald of Orange Light. You're not gonna play, you're gonna cut down on Honest. You're gonna cut down on names. Like that's the whole purpose of the deck. So
everything you play that's not Christia gets hit.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely think decks are worse because DDV is popping, because like Vayu beats them because of DDV. But I don't think like those decks were always like tier 1.5 anyway. I don't know if there's been a tier 1 deck that's not tier 1 anymore because of DDV.
Yeah, I think Christia Sworn's one of those decks. Like because Christia Sworn had to move away from playing like Raikou and Hamster because of DDV.
Yeah, I think
and then they're just playing a worse version of the deck, and that's why it's not good anymore, in my opinion.
I'll tell you right now, there's no deck that beats Hero Frogs. No deck that beats Hero Frogs better than fucking Christia Sworn. 80-20. 80-20 matchup easy. The original Christia Sworn deck, I used to play against it. My friend Vinny Casello, I used to play against him on DB for funsies, and he's played Christia Sworn. I used to play Hero Frogs. My exact winning list, 80-20. Could not beat that deck in 2 out of 3. It's impossible, bro. It's so fucking hard because that deck was playing like triple Hamster, triple Raikou, a triple Herald of Orange Light, triple Soul Purity and Light, the one like Shire thing, whatever, the Light Sworn, and what would happen is like I would look at his grave and be like, oh, he doesn't have like 4 set up yet. I'm Gucci. And he'd be like, flip Hamster, get Raikou, tribute both for Christia. And I'm like, oh no. Like this deck's entire identity is just summoning Christia over and over again. And it's really good at it. You just can't win. But that deck, fortunately, your deck came in and was like, I'm playing double DDV. That deck literally, like we just been talking about for the last 2 hours, is gone. Like Christia Sworn is just gone, bro. It's just completely.
I don't think it's ever been tier 1 though. Like there's not been nearly enough results for you to tell me like Christia Sworn's tier 1.
I get that. I just don't think that we can ever find out if it could have been. Because how could
Twilight tier 1?
Right, okay, that's fair. You can never find out if it could have been.
Well, yeah, would you call Twilight tier 1? Because it didn't have those results for years, and the Light Sworn deck that did was Christia, and I think
if
Twilight doesn't.
I think if GBs are considered tier 1, then yeah, I mean I personally think GBs and Twilight are like the same. Like I put them like right next to each other every time I do like a tier list in my head. So yeah,
like S not S plus.
Sorry,
S not S plus.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. Like when I think about the top decks in the format, to me, there's 4. I think there's 4 decks that are like the best decks, and they are like the ones that win the most tournaments, and that is Hero Frog, Frogger TK, Vayu, and Blackwing. And I think this is like, you could also just say, okay, Frazier, you're being results oriented, but sure, I will own that. The results are showing that those are the 4 decks that win like every tournament, bro. Like every tournament is basically won by those 4 decks, and then occasionally, and I mean like very occasionally, you'll get a GB win, a Twilight win, and it goes back to just bird frogs every time, like bird frog, like every time, right? It's just those 2 decks. Like this is a bird frog format. I think at this point complaining about that is kind of weird. Like I wouldn't go into GOAT format and play it and then start complaining about Chaos Turbo. I think that seems crazy to me to do. Like it like you know what you signed up. You know what I mean? You know what you signed up for. That is literally the format. I wouldn't play Melee and say I hate Fox and Marth. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like
People do that.
you said what?
People do that.
They play Melee and complain about Fox and Marth.
I mean, yeah, people play every game and complain about everything. So
Yeah, it's just like I
Yeah.
just think that like to me, and I think that hopefully you guys obviously get this too. But like as a competitive person, what is the point if you're going to partake in something and you already know this is an established way that this is played and this is like the established meta, the most effective tactics available. This is the meta. Fox and Marth, birds and frogs, whatever game we're talking about. There's always a meta no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's a locked format, so like Melee's locked, it doesn't have DLC, it doesn't have like it's played one way. Edison is played like we don't have a modified Edison ban list. We never will. Edison is always going to be the way it is. When Konami tried to change that, we fucking rioted. So like these things are locked, and that's a good thing in its own. But then it's also like, yes, we do have these things that are very powerful. Value is so outrageously powerful. It wins the bulk of our tournaments. That's the format though. That's what you sign up for. Like I don't play Redo because I don't like the gameplay of Redo. Right? Like but I don't complain about Redo and play it at the same time because I think that's just like crazy to do. Like why am I doing that? Like why am I subjecting myself to Taylor Swift if I don't like Taylor Swift? Like why would you do that?
Well, so when I played Melee, like I would play Marth, and people complain. Like people complain all the time about everything. But like when people complain, like people would say like, oh, just tell them like you want like I want on the character select screen. Like
Damn.
you don't want to lose at the character select screen. You don't want to like pick a bad deck and be like, yeah, like fuck frogs and birds. Like
yeah, I just
like,
didn't play another format. You could actually contribute to making
Yeah.
another community of retro better. So people who hate Edison, you hate birds and frogs, play Redo, play Hat, play Goats. Those formats need more people. They need content creators. They need more people. That's just a fact. You playing in the format that is the most popular because it's the most popular is kind of weird to me because you don't like it. You don't like the gameplay in this format, but you're playing in it. And it's like you could just be using that energy and that time to promote and play in another format that needs more players. When people see Redo this past weekend in Pittsburgh had over 100 people, had 101 players in Redo. That's huge. People see that, and now more people are like, damn, I should buy a Redo deck because 100 people showed up to play Redo, right? Like that's what's needed to make these formats actually pop off and like do well. That's the answer is like people who don't like Edison play the other one. Don't play Edison and complain to us about Edison. I'm an Edison content creator. People in my comment section talking about after the top 4 of Pittsburgh where it was like all birds. They were like, oh, this format's not as diverse as I thought it was. Everybody should switch formats, stuff like that. And I'm like, this is one tournament, bro. We had so many tournaments where we've had tournaments where there's no value in top 8. We've had tournaments where there's no black wings in top 8. We've had multiple in a row where there are no black wings in top 8. We've had tournaments where there were 8 different decks in top 8. I remember making videos about like there was an X-Saber, a Diva Hero, a Gigavice, a Frog, this. It was like 8 different decks literally in top 8 of an EWCQ with 200 people. So it's like, you guys will take one example of no diversity and be like, that's the format. This Edison is just this. And it's like, that's so ridiculous.
It still is diverse too. Like people aren't like actually looking into it. Like Nitro plays much differently than Vayu.
Yeah.
Hybrid Blackwing plays much differently than Blackwing and Nitro, right? Like,
yeah.
Like people don't look like some of these newer innovations of decks that are already tier 1 or like blends of decks, right? Like they have different game plans and they play differently. And if you watch the gameplay, it's like apparent. But yeah, people just see bird cards or frog cards and lump them all together.
Also, like I feel like the good players will play the decks they think is the best, and most of us just think like, you know, the bird frog decks are the best decks.
Same.
But if you were to tell me like the decks that you listed like 5 through 10 like are like that much worse, I don't think they're like that much worse to the point they're unplayable. Like that's totally not true. If like Marcus started playing GBs and he's gotten results. Like if Marcus, like let's just say hypothetically Marcus becomes a GB one trick for the rest of his Edison career, and Marcus is going to top. And
Yes.
like it's just that the good players are just picking to play these decks. Like if you're actually good on like GB, Diva Hero, like whatever it is, you're going to get results.
Yep.
But unfortunately those decks are also like, when those decks feel bad, they feel so bad in comparison to like the top 3-4 decks, unfortunately.
No,
Like GBs and stuff.
Yeah, GB's like losing to a Cyber Dragon, you hear that all the time, or like Diva Hero, like drop Gilman Malicious, you hear that all the time. It's just
Dude.
like, yo, man, this feels so bad. But it's like it's like such a small proportion of the games that like you
Yes.
actually lose, but like that haunts you. Like you like remember that and you're like, fuck this. And then when it happens again, you get like have like the selective like hearing where you're like, man, this deck sucks.
It's funny you said that because in War League this week I played GVs and I got soloed by a Cyber Dragon.
No.
I could not out it. Like I'm drawing cards like GV monsters and consecrated. I like attempt to use a trap card to finally out it, and he judgments it because he just knew.
Yeah, you'll never forget that. Like you'll never forget a Cyber Dragon soloing you.
Yeah, and then you'll just drop the deck because you're like, fuck this.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny. Frog players don't drop frogs after getting outed by like just solo by a dino though. It's funny like that. Like I don't know, maybe the stronger decks just feel good. That's the thing, man. Like the strong decks, the GBs, not the GBs, the birds and the frogs, they just feel so good. Like their hands are consistent, their hands are broken, their hands are auto win, their hands are powerful. The other decks will have like auto win hands too. GBs definitely have auto win hands. Twilight definitely has auto win hands. They just don't have that consistency that I think we cling to that shit. We like opening our hand and playing the game. Sizzle prides himself on like, I just want to play the game. I just don't want to brick. A lot of your deck building is like, I don't want to brick. I'll play double hamster, I don't want to brick. I'll play charge, I don't want to brick. I'll play this, I don't want to brick. Everything is like, I just don't want to brick. I just want to play. As long as I can play, I think I can win.
That's
Yeah,
my whole deck building philosophy is the math of everything. I'm more like Dirk in that aspect, and sometimes it's to a fault where you like are too focused on just the math and consistency and not the utility of your deck. But
Yeah.
And Edison is becoming like a point. Like I used to think like, consistency matters more, or not. I'm not saying power doesn't matter at all, but consistency matters so much to me. Like in the sense that like if you truly do want to top multiple times, you really do need consistency. But now that like we've talked about all these new decks just being such high power level and being volatile as crap, like I feel like it's harder to get away with consistency cards, and you kind of just need
Some
power
kind
level
of-
because
yeah.
you just like it's almost at the point where I feel like it almost just has to be my day no matter what. Like I feel like before it was like, oh, I just have to like not get sacked like in a ridiculous way a few times and I'm like consistently gonna top or bubble. And now it feels like, bro, people are like sacking left and right, and I feel like I might just need a sack back.
Yeah. Your last couple tournament losses, I think all of us, our last couple tournament losses have been a bit uncontrollable. Like I can attest to myself, and I listen to you guys' stories, and things just have gone wrong. And that is like, it's happening more often. And that is because overall, I think players are getting better. They have more time to play. So that's just like normal. You play something over and over again. Eventually people start to get better. And then the other thing is like, the sackiness is very high because you have Pandora's box. You introducing DDV, you introducing water art, like Alistair introducing like Froggo TK and decks like that, and these like very volatile, like high variance cards that just blow games out of the water. Like even me, I'm a Future Fusion Dandy believer, right? Like Tom Mack won the first major of the year, the most stacked tournament of the year with like fucking Future Dandy, Double Water Art, Plasma, Scapegoat, like all of this high variance shit. Like this is, you watch his finals and he goes, Summon Strato, set Scapegoat, go. The guy summons Lila, gets Phase, Scapegoat, Plasma comes down, the game's over. Like that feels like pretty fucking sacky. It's just like, damn, I got fucking solo by Plasma. Like I couldn't do anything about it. Yeah, get fucking wrecked, right? Like everything is telling you to basically build your deck to have these sacky cards in it, and the whole idea of just having a consistent deck is not great, which is why I think Hero Beat sucks. It's just consistent. It just plays 5 Stratos, and that's cool. Stratos, Rhoda, triple E-Call or whatever. That's awesome. You play 5 Stratos. That's awesome. Your deck, you will see Stratos and Alias every game. So is that enough? No. Where's your Dark Art? Where's your Return? Where's your Miracle Fusion? Like your actual broken Miracle Fusion, not just like Summon Zero. Your Miracle Fusion is accompanied by a dupe lock. Where's your like substitute with Dandelion? Where's your 1-for-1 Dandy? Where's your foolish substitute? Where's your like kill you on turn 2? Like never. It'll never kill you on turn 2. You'll always get turns against Hero Beat. It doesn't have the GB thing where turn 1, summon Prisma, send Laquari, set 2 back row, go. One of them is Trapstone, one of them is Bottomless. you could set Ryko there, you could summon Greffer. No matter which one you do, you lose. You summon Greffer, you pitch, you're like, okay. You go activate Arm Wing, Bottomless. You attack and crash, fine. Next one, they go draw, summon Rescue Cat. You go something, activate a trap stun, you're dead. Like you set a monster, you get the Prisma still sits there. Summon any GB, send BCR, you're dead. Like these auto win, like instantly blow the game out of the water. Hero Beat never does that. There's no such thing. So the deck kind of fell out of favor because two things happened. Frogs got better, and also the consistency thing is not enough anymore. Which is not. If you want to win,
Yeah.
you want to win the
Decks
game.
are establishing win cons, like because like I feel like the meta was so defined. I feel like now like any new deck is just like establishing. It's either like it's like strictly like an anti-meta deck almost, or it's just like this is the win con. Like this is what I'm talking about, like being saggy. Like this deck has a win con, and it's like maybe not the most consistent win con, but it has a win con. Like Gigavice, for example, like
Yeah.
you know, like we were talking about earlier, just these kamikaze decks that are super. Like there's obviously a win con, but it's like, are you going to get to it? Maybe, maybe not. But if I get to it, I can't lose. Like that Pana deck, that Pana Machina deck, dude. That deck just is built to beat the meta. Like that deck solos Value Turbo. That deck is like really good into Frogs too, even in my opinion.
It kills you, bro. It's like it plays limiter, which is that card is so unfair. It just kills you. It kills you so fast that you don't even get a chance to set up.
Yeah. It's just like these decks are just built to be like, I don't know if that deck would have thrived in like normal Edison because like there's so much interrupt and just different environment. But now like the meta hyper focused decks can just like be built like that to like beat the big 4 or 3 or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's real. Decks like that, he went undefeated in Swiss. Apparently it tops a lot in Europe too. Like those kind of ancient gear Machina decks are really good in Europe. People don't really play them in America because we're just a bird frog nation, I guess. But like in Europe, apparently there's a lot more machines, and they are playing like builds similar to the panelists that just seek to have anti-Blackwing and value matchups, and then they just side hard as fuck for frogs.
Even Twilight, like the Twilight list now is played is like built to beat value and frog.
Yes.
Like double D, Crow, Kaiku, like that's not doing well in a normal meta.
No, it's
like,
not. Like imagine playing against Hero Beat with that. Like, what are you doing? You have an 1800 guy in your deck that's a vanilla against Hero Beat, and then you have double D Crow, which can be good, but like also is probably going to sit in your hand most of the game.
Yep.
Interesting. All right, I want to end it here. I think we've yapped for so long. This is well over 2 hours at this point, and I could go on and on because I do want to talk about something else, but I'll wait and just like we'll convene again. We'll come together again and discuss one of the other topics I want to talk about, which is just spoiler alert for people listening to this: hybrid Blackwing / the hybrid value decks that have recently been winning. All of a sudden, the last 2 events actually were won by the Chicago Monthly that held over 100 players and people traveled to, including myself. That one was won by Hybrid, and also the Retro Reborn in Pittsburgh the very next week. I love these storylines in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Dream Frogs comes out of nowhere, wins 2 events in a row, and it's like, oh shit. The meta shifted because of that. When that happened with Dream Frogs, then you got DDV double in the main deck and stuff like that. And then, things started happening. Dupless Hero Frogs got created after that. So I'm wondering what happens now with hybrid Blackwing being a deck that has won 2 majors in a row and like it has to be respected. So that's a conversation that we could have at a later date. But guys, in the comments, let us know what you think about the state of Edison 2026. Like, what has your experience been? Do you agree? Do you disagree? We have a lot of different takes. This video is very long, so there's a lot of different things being talked about here, but I'm so curious to know what you think about all of this, like the whole thing. Yeah. Any closing thoughts, guys? Or
Man, I'm gonna be playing this game until I'm like dead.
Yeah.
I love this format still.
I always say when people say, "Oh, Edison's gonna die soon," or Edison's like, how long do you think Edison has left? And I'm like, well, Super Smash Melee is 25 years old, and that game gets well over 1,000 people to show up consistently to majors throughout the year. Well, Smash Con, Genesis. There's multiple tournaments a year where over 1,000 people show up to play Melee, which is a 25-year-old game that has not changed. Not literally. Like it, obviously the meta has changed. The techniques have changed, but the game is the game. They have not modded it necessarily much to like outside of Pokemon Stadium or whatever. But like Kitty, to the point, I don't think Edison necessarily will die because it's in the hands of the players who play it to let it die. And why do we have to accept that? Like the Melee players didn't accept it. There's a precedent for another retro game that still lives on to this day with a big community, a big grassroots community at that. And it thrives. It's thriving currently to this day in 2026. It's thriving. There's going to be a major like SmashCon. I think they renamed it the Supernova. That's coming up. That's going to have a shit ton of Melee players show up for a 25-year-old game. So
yeah, I don't think I'll, unless I really, really need money, I don't feel like I'll ever sell like my deck. Cause like, dude, like Mango always says shit like, we'll be playing Melee when we're 60 drinking beers in the retirement home. Like, I really feel like that's going to happen with us.
Yeah. We'll be playing retro Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know why you'd necessarily would. Why would your age have to make you stop? Anyway, I don't. We could bring this up next time, guys. We're gonna end it here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.